The schedule was for the president to start speaking around right now. Obviously, things are running behind, but he is still scheduled to make it here and to give a speech to his fans. Let's talk about what the president is expected to speak on today. So the event is expected to focus on some key policy initiatives designed to benefit Americans. The president is expected to highlight some real major priorities, including lowering the cost of prescription drugs, eliminating tax on tips and overtime, and really the big one here, I could tell from the first speeches, was extending those Social Security, no taxes on the Social Security benefits. As you can imagine here, security is very tight. It's only been about 6 days since that incident at the Correspondents' Dinner, and the president spoke about that earlier today. Let's take a listen.
When you go to this is going to be your first big public event since somebody tried to kill you on Saturday. Do you feel safe going to something like this today?
I don't even think about it, Peter.
And while the president might not be thinking about it, I can guarantee you Secret Service is. A lot of those guys and gals running around right now. News 6's Mark Lehman looks at what's in place to keep the president safe today.
Military aircraft were spotted earlier this week on practice runs ahead of President Trump's Friday visit to the Villages High School.
It was one after another, and then I saw the presidential helicopter, and I'm like, all right, this is really strange.
Bob Pingilly took the video from his backyard on Tuesday. He's expecting security to be extra tight.
I hope they keep doing their homework and get better and better and better with this, because we cannot have this keep happening.
Retired Secret Service agent Jeff James says there's a carefully laid out and layered approach.
We look at where the president's going to be, and we build out the security from the center out.
Drivers are also facing several road closures and detours.
How do you think the traffic situation is going to be out here?
It's going to be a nightmare. Yeah, it's going to be really, really tough.
Meanwhile, everyone in the area is urged to anticipate delays.
I just hope it goes smooth, and if there's anybody protesting, which is totally your right, just do it peacefully.
Mark Lehman, News 6.
So let's talk about those protesters for a minute. You know, News 6 is going to give you both sides of the story. I did see a large group of protesters out protesting the president's visit today. And the Florida Democratic Party, the Villages Democratic Club, and more groups, they all organized a big golf cart protest. Let's show you some video of that against the president, his visit, and his policies. Mark also spoke with some of those demonstrators earlier this afternoon.
I hope the people of Florida understand that redistricting is a bad thing, and that our Congress needs to support democracy, not necessarily the king that's in charge.
Now, I also spoke with some supporters entering in that big line. I also spoke with some folks who were able to make it inside this gymnasium. It is a rare few, and it took a very late night to get in here. Take a listen.
We stayed the night. We slept out in chairs and in our cars last night to make sure we were on the front. We were in the front row.
What time did you get here?
Yesterday afternoon, about 4:45.
So while everyone inside this gymnasium is waiting for the president to touch down in Air Force One at Ocala International Airport and then make what seems like maybe an hour trip to get to this high school, it's going to be complicated outside if you live in the villages. So let's take you for a map of what it's like getting in here. I can tell you it's not easy just getting in here myself. The Sumter County Sheriff's Office says Dr. Randy McDaniel Way is closed from Alder Avenue to the Gardner Drive, Landstone Boulevard roundabout. Pettis Parkway is also closed. It's an interesting area out here. It's being built up significantly as it's kind of attaching to the villages here in Sumterville. We're expecting the president to come here, give his speech, as soon as he does. In fact, as soon as he touches down in Ocala, we'll be live for you there at the airport and here showing you his remarks. Live in the villages, I'm Matt Austin, News 6.
All right, Matt, thank you. And whenever the president does start to speak, we'll bring it to you live on air and streaming on clickorlando.com.
All right, we know a lot of people have a lot of plans this weekend, and if you are one of them, you'll want to make sure you have those plans kind of wrapped up pretty early on Saturday.
All right, let's bring in meteorologist Julie Broughton so she can tell us why part of Saturday is a weather alert day.
Yeah, so we've designated tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening a weather alert day. We've been talking about the system for the last several days. It was going to be impacting our weekend, and now the timing on that looks to be tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. So here's a look from the Storm Prediction Center. You'll notice the area shaded in yellow. That is a level 2 risk of strong to severe storms, so slight, and then the rest of us in green under that marginal risk of some of those stronger storms. So here's the setup out ahead of this today and tomorrow. We're talking about hot temperatures in the low 90s. We have a front to our north right now, but an area below pressure is going to continue to develop and deepen, and that's going to move through and help to pull a cold front through our area, and out ahead of that front is where we are talking about that potential for some of those storms. So we could see some rain moving in as early as noon. I think the most intense activity won't move into our northern counties likely until the late afternoon hours. So if you have soccer games, things like that tomorrow morning, I think your morning plans are in good shape. I think Sunday, most of the day, you should be in good shape. But Sunday, we're going to be a whole lot cooler and windy as well.
All right, this isn't the drought-busting rain that we've been waiting for, but still something.
It's something, but remember, we're going to have lightning that goes along with this, so that's always problematic. But some folks will pick up some decent rainfall, but it's not going to get us out of our drought.
All right, Julie, we'll check in with you a little bit later on in the show. Thank you. Well, here's a controversy a lot of you have been talking about, and it has caught the attention now of the state's top prosecutor. We've been reporting over the last few weeks about all the issues happening at Sloth World. At least 32 sloths that were taken to that facility have now died. 12 more were rescued and taken to the Central Florida Zoo for rehab. It's led to a number of local lawmakers to call for the state to investigate Sloth World. Today, Florida Attorney General James Othmeyer responded to those calls, saying one of the statewide prosecutors is helping with the ongoing criminal investigation. The AG said generally the Office of Statewide Prosecution's authority in matters of animal welfare is called in when there's a pattern of racketeering activity. We're working with the state attorney's office in Orlando, where the investigation stands. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti will have an update on that part of the story coming up at 5 o'clock today.
And still to come here on News 6 at 3, gas prices continuing to rise. The big jump that shocked some drivers this morning.
Yeah, plus we're talking about playoff fever in downtown Orlando. Come on, Magic. We're caught up with the Magic faithful ahead of a potential series clinching game that's happening tonight at the Kia Center. All right, welcome back to News 6 at 3, everybody. You are taking a live look now. This is Ocala International Airport, and you are looking at Air Force One. It just touched down at the airport. President Trump will be making his way from the airport to the Villages Charter School. That is where you saw our Matt Austin at the top of this newscast. That's about an hour drive, so we still have some time before he starts speaking at that school. And when he does, we'll bring it to you. When the president starts to speak, we'll take it live on TV and streaming on ClickOrlando.com.
If you have to fill up your tank this weekend, get ready for another round of sticker shock at the pumps. I'm Stephanie Rodriguez reporting in Orlando. Gas prices have soared in every single state. Right now, the national average for a gallon of regular is $4.37. Here in Florida, it's $4.28. But many stations, as you can see, are well above that. The average price here in Florida jumped 12 cents in one day. Again, we are seeing even higher prices than that at the pump here on Friday. This time last week, it was $3.97. The uptick all to do with Iran. This is the highest that gas has been since the war with Iran began and the highest since July 2022. Oil prices are now topping $126 a barrel. That's up about $50 a barrel since the start of the war, which is again what's pushing the prices at the pump. But President Trump repeated his assertion that oil and gas prices will drop rapidly after the war with Iran is over.
It'll drop like a rock. There's so much of it. It's all over the place, sitting all over the oceans of the world. And it'll go down. But what won't happen is if Iran had a nuclear weapon and used it, then the whole world is a different place.
Right now, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed, and the U.S. is continuing its blockade of Iranian ports. To put it in perspective, Americans will now be paying $500 million more in gas today compared to the beginning of the war in Iran. Reporting in Orlando, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
All right, well, your Orlando Magic are back home tonight preparing for Game 6 against the Detroit Pistons. The math is really pretty simple here. If they win, they advance to the second round of the NBA playoffs for the first time since 2010.
I would like to correct that to say when they win.
Oh, yeah, okay, sorry.
And unfortunately, if they lose, do we even need to talk about this? Game 7 would be in Detroit on Sunday. No need to worry about that.
No.
Your Orange County community correspondent Amy Russo spoke with some excited fans earlier today outside the Kia Center.
16 years, quite a long time. And just to put into perspective how long it's been, check out the Kia Center, home of the Orlando Magic. The last time the Magic made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals, this center, it wasn't even open yet. So fans, they tell me they're ready, they're hungry for a Magic win, and they're excited to see what they can pull off.
What response have we seen from the fans since the Magic has had some great recent success?
Yeah, from the fans, it has been amazing. Playoff atmosphere is always great and exciting because everybody's, dressed the part and they're there cheering strong, doing all the celebrating.
You watched the latest game with the Orlando Magic versus Detroit Pistons. You weren't too happy with the outcome.
I was not. The TV was not happy with me. I was yelling at it, and it just didn't help.
Do you think that the home field advantage for the Magic is going to help in this game?
Definitely so. Home field is where all the energy is. That team's going to take that energy, and we're going to pull off a win.
Right now, Church Street in front of the Kia Center, there's not a lot of people. However, that will not be the case this afternoon. That's when this area will be closed to traffic. Fans are invited to come out for Fan Fest, have some fun with each other before trickling into the Kia Center for Game 6. What do you have to say to this Orlando Magic team?
Play together, play strong, and you can win.
I think we've got 2 chances to get this. I think we can do it in 1.
We definitely think Magic will pull it off.
And we were talking about Fan Fest earlier. Check it out. The cones are already up. Church Street is closed all the way from Division to Huey for Fan Fest. 2 hours before the game, fans encouraged to come out, have a good time, wear your black as well to show your support for the Magic. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Amy Russo, News 6.
All right, we want to take you back out live to Ocala, where President Trump has just exited Air Force One. It looks like he's now about to get on Marine One. Again, he is in Ocala en route to the Villages, to the charter school there, where he is expected to greet thousands of supporters who are inside that gymnasium waiting for him. Our Matt Austin is also in there, expecting him to touch on a lot of things. This is kind of a semi-political rally, if you will. We're expecting him to talk a little bit about some of his economic plans and tax cuts that he's been touting.
Sure, it'll be a big speech in front of his base here, the Florida Faithful, for sure. And he's running behind schedule because he didn't leave D.C. Boy, he left about an hour and a half late because he took questions on the ground, and that went on for a little bit. But of course, when he does speak, we will bring it to you live on air and on clickorlando.com.
All right, we want to get back to the other big story that's happening here in Central Florida today, and that is the Orlando Magic. As our Amy Russo was reporting, so much excitement happening in downtown Orlando. We want to let you know Sunrail is free this afternoon if you have plans to head to downtown Orlando, and Sunrail will drop you off at Church Street Station.
And if you want to get into the building, though, you can catch the game. It's actually not going to set you back too much.
This might surprise you a little bit. So looking at StubHub, a pair of tickets to the game tonight starts at about $200 total. That's for a pair of tickets.
Oh.
Prices, now you're probably definitely in the nosebleeds at that price.
It doesn't matter.
Prices on Ticketmaster are comparable to StubHub as well. That's based on our producer's research earlier this afternoon.
Okay, so good luck if you're trying to get tickets.
Yes.
And let us know how that goes. So speaking of being at the Kia Center for the game tonight, live sports is the topic of today's poll. We both love live sporting events. And so we want to know, first of all, take out your phone, scan that QR code you see right there. It'll take you to clickorlando.com/react, and you can weigh in on our question of the day. We want to know, what's your favorite sport to watch in person? Football is number one by far by 40%. Where are my basketball fans? 10%. Weak. That's very,
that is a
very
little
weak, guys.
I'm looking at this. Horse racing, we've got the Kentucky Derby this weekend. That's not surprising.
Where is soccer on there at all?
Yeah,
that's
4%.
People, we got to do better. We need more of you voting, but I would be a basketball fan.
Anyone who's going to be inside the Kia Center tonight, we know that's going to be super exciting to see.
They are such a fun team to watch, and when they're winning, it's even more fun.
My favorite sport to watch is my kids.
It is
no matter what sport it is.
A sport.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, coming up after the break, the new retirement saving option to help lower income Americans.
Plus, the two companies already saying they will give back some of the tariff refunds that they will be receiving. We'll have more on that after the break. All right, welcome back. We are waiting for President Trump to arrive at the Villages Charter School. Here's a live look from inside that school where he will be addressing a crowd of supporters and lawmakers. Our News 6 anchor Matt Austin is also inside that gymnasium right now, waiting for the president to arrive. Now, just minutes ago, he got off Air Force One in Ocala. He exited the plane, got onto Marine One that was waiting nearby on his way to the Villages. So, again, we are waiting for him to arrive at the Villages Charter School. We're expecting him to address a lot of his economic proposals, specifically some tax cuts the president has been touting. And as soon as he begins to make those remarks, we will bring them to you live here on News 6 and on ClipOrlando.com.
I'm News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez. UPS and FedEx say they will be sharing tariff refunds with customers, and an executive order could help some retire. So let's get over to Maribel Aber in today's Money Matters. So this account would actually help people who don't have workplace retirement plans.
Let's talk about it, Lauren. The Trump administration proposing this new retirement savings option for Americans without, indeed, workplace plans. An executive order signed yesterday calls for a Trump IRA website where individuals can enroll in private sector accounts. The low-cost plans would include both Roth and traditional IRAs. It would first open for those making $35,000 a year or less, or a $70,000 for joint filers, then expand in the future. The government would match funds up to $1,000. The White House says the idea is modeled after the Thrift Savings Plan for federal employees. The new website is expected to launch early next year. Lauren, I got an easy one for you. Pay yourself every day, whatever it is, $5 a day, $10 a day, and do that compound interest.
Yeah, it's such good advice. I mean, it's the smallest but most effective way to, again, help yourself out. Speaking of money in your pocket, some of the companies getting those tariff refunds, they're not keeping it. They're going to share it with customers.
UPS and FedEx say they'll share their tariff refunds with customers. In fact, they're among hundreds of thousands of companies expecting money back on levies paid over the past year. The Supreme Court ruled those fees unlawful, ordering the government to pay them back. The total could reach about $166 billion. The companies haven't outlined exact dollar amounts or timing, but did say a process is underway.
Okay, that's all we need to hear. Thank you, Maribel. Remember, for the latest money and consumer news anytime, you can head to our website, ClickOrlando.com.
Well, coming up after the break, the important reason behind a life-saving event in Central Florida.
Yeah, and coming up on the news at 4 o'clock, new tools coming to one Central Florida school to protect kids in the classroom. We're getting a first-hand look at how it all works when we come back.
Coming up on Monday, a local police department using cutting-edge technology in the Central Florida city that could be one of the safest because of it.
And a scheme on Facebook costing people cash, what the News 6 investigators found that could change what you post.
Join us for News 6 Morning, starting at 5.
Welcome back. It is 3:28 on this Friday afternoon, and you are looking live inside the Villages Charter School, where President Trump is expected to address that crowd of about 1,000 people who have gathered there today, touting his economic proposals. Our Matt Austin is inside there as well, waiting for the president to take to that podium. He touched down in Ocala within the last 30 minutes and is now en route to the Villages. So as soon as the president arrives there and makes his way on that stage, we will bring you his remarks live right here on News 6 and on clickorlando.com. All right, picture this. You prepare for months, sometimes even years for some people, for your wedding day, and the venue where you are supposed to hold your special day suddenly shuts down.
Yeah, I can't imagine, but that is the reality for a number of couples in Central Florida. That's what they're dealing with right now. News 6 investigator Paulina Osta joins us now. And Paulina, come on over. You have been covering the issues these couples have been dealing with now for a few weeks now. I can't even imagine dealing with this right now.
It is probably one of the worst things a couple could deal with ahead of their wedding. The venue is like the first thing on people's list when they're planning. So we were the first to report that the Crystal Ballroom Ocean Walk was evicted, and they were accepting money all the way up until the point that they were escorted out the door.
Wow.
Right?
Gosh.
And so one of the couples that I actually talked to, they're getting married tomorrow. There they are. That's Krista and Angel. They were able to find another venue. They have yet to get a refund from the Crystal Ballroom, but what we're talking about tonight is what to avoid or how to avoid having this same heartbreak, because the BBB says a lot of these couples were telling me that they paid via Zelle. Zelle's as good as cash. So once that money's gone, it's gone, you know? So we got a lot of really good tips in this story tonight on what to avoid, whether you have a graduation, quinceañera, bar mitzvah, whatever the situation is. Even though we're kind of focusing on weddings with this, it's really good to protect that investment.
Yeah, and it's wedding season too. And if you don't, okay, so that couple, they're moving forward with their plans.
Yes.
There are some people who can't afford to do that.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the brides that I've been running into, they spent, $3,000 to $5,000 on down payments and have invested in this, and now that's taken out of their budget.
And for people who are not familiar with the Crystal Ballroom, I mean, has this been a place that's been around? Because that's one thing you want to do, right? When you're talking about not falling into something like this, make sure you're getting a reputable location.
Yeah, they do have multiple locations around Florida. There are multiple ones, throughout the entire state, including a few others here in Central Florida. Those ones appear to be fine.
Okay.
But
it's just this location.
Yes, this location has had a few issues.
Well, it's a good story because it's not only wedding season right now, but a lot of people are getting engaged right now too. Yes. So it's a good time to pay attention to what not to do.
Yeah.
Paulina, thank you so much. All right, less than a month after a toddler actually got a hold of a gun and shot himself in the chest with an unsecured gun, the Osceola County Sheriff's Office is trying to make sure that this does not happen to other children.
Your Osceola County community correspondent Stephanie Rodriguez was there as the department gave out free gun locks.
Safe storage saves lives. That's the message of this gun lock giveaway here in Osceola County as the Sheriff's Office works to ensure that people are safe in homes where there are weapons.
Kids around, family members, it's good to keep safety first.
You want just one? That's how some gun owners feel about getting free gun locks from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office.
I got 2 kids on the way. That's doing like 2 months, and I carry, so it would keep me safe. I know they're safe, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like a peace of mind, really.
The giveaway comes just a few weeks after a 3.5-year-old shot himself in the chest in Point Siena with a gun that was within reach. The child narrowly surviving his injuries.
I'm telling you, the grace of God saved his life, because otherwise he's not with us. That case is still pending. It's under investigation, but we hope to wrap it up here in the next couple of weeks. But that kind of spurred this as well to make us want to get the message out to the community to try to save these kids from getting injured or killed.
Osceola Sheriff Christopher Blackman partnered with Dr. Myron Rolls Foundation to get locks to residents with no questions asked to remind people of the dangers and reality of having guns around children who can end up in Dr. Rolls' OR.
Safe storage and gun locks reduce morbidity and mortality by 32%. A kid who can be 3 years old has enough strength in his fingers to pull a gun and discharge it, hurt himself or hurt someone else.
For William Vega, the lock is to keep his grandchildren safe.
The best way is have the safety, because you don't want nobody to grab the gun and start shooting a gun without knowing what they're doing. So that's why I came to pick it up.
Are you here for a gun law?
I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Now, if you missed today's gun lock giveaway, you can still contact your local sheriff's office. Many offer free locks through partnerships with nonprofits.
Yeah. Well, sadly, the worst fears for a family and a school community did happen on the other side of the state. This is a story we've been covering, and it's just been horrific. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office says human remains found near a bridge in Tampa last weekend have been identified as the second missing University of South Florida student, Nahida Bristi. Officials said yesterday the remains had the same clothes she was wearing when she disappeared on April 16th, along with her partner, Zamil Limon. Both were doctoral candidates, and the person you're seeing there on the screen is Limon's roommate. His name is Hisham Abu Garbia. He has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder.
Well, student athletes in Florida profiting off their name, image, and likeness may not see some of the money that they earn right away. A state panel on college athletics is suggesting a portion of those funds from NIL deals be put into a professionally managed trust. The panel is also considering recommending more oversight of agents working for college athletes, limiting transfers between schools, and exempting schools from federal antitrust laws to shield them from lawsuits on compensation.
Today, we do not have a single NIL framework in this country. We have a patchwork of state laws, institutional policy, third-party agreements that often operate without clear alignment. The result is a competitive environment that can reward opacity over transparency and short-term advantage over long-term stability.
The task force continues to gather information on changes it could recommend to keep Florida schools competitive in the changing economic landscape of college sports. Some school officials say regulations are needed for agents, including making financial arrangements with students transparent.
There are a lot of bad actors out there. There's some really great agents as well that represent everybody's best interests, but at the same time, we've got to make sure our student athletes are knowledgeable, they're protected.
The state task force is intended to build on a March meeting held by President Trump on college sports. The president signed an executive order a month ago that calls for the NCAA to set a 5-year participation limit for athletes, cap transfers to 1 in a 5-year period, and a second one for those who earn a 4-year degree, and to create a national registry for agents to monitor NIL activity. There should be, you would think, some safeguards in place because we're talking about some very young people with a significant amount of money.
I know. I think we're in, new territory, and people are still trying to figure out and navigate these uncharted waters, and hopefully they'll come up with something that works for everyone, especially the young people, to protect them. All right, a dramatic crash could have turned deadly if some bystanders had not been quick to jump into action. On Tuesday, look at this. A car flipped and landed upside down and partially underwater in a creek. This was in Fort Pierce. This is in St. Lucie County. 2 people were trapped inside but were pulled out by those along the road while first responders were heading to the scene.
Life is precious, and people don't realize how quickly things can be taken away from you. It could have been a fatal thing, and to look at that and say, wow, that could have been me, that could have been someone that I love. Life can change in an instant, and, take every day, for what it is. It's a gift.
He said a word right there. He says that he is thankful both people were okay, and that so many people were willing to help when it was needed most. And that, you see that, and you don't even think that there's anything you can do because it looks so bad. You think it's just too late, but thank goodness those people jumped into action and lives were saved because of it.
No kidding. All right, CBS This Morning celebrated some real-life heroes earlier today when the Artemis II astronauts stopped by their studio to talk about their recent successful mission.
All right, so CBS's Jared Hill has the highlights, which include some very special guest appearances.
The crew of Artemis II walked out to cheers and applause during Friday's special edition of CBS Mornings.
So nice to see you on Earth, guys.
Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen came by to talk about their history-making mission around the moon.
When you were coming back, was it more nerve-wracking going up or coming back down?
Well, it's really from launch to landing, but it doesn't end until those chutes come out. But for the landing, it's like all the sights, all the feels. It's like the best roller coaster ride you've ever been on.
The astronauts also answered questions from kids in the audience.
If every student on Earth could experience just one moment from your Artemis II mission,
which moment would you choose?
Good question.
The view. If
The
you
view.
could see all of Earth in one glance,
Yes.
that is a very special perspective.
Yeah. Earth.
And there is a very special gift for 5-year-old Jack Wineski, whose excitement at the launch captured hearts around the globe.
It says NASA.
It does.
We caught up with him wearing his new suit.
Jack, what do you think about your new suit?
It's great.
Everyone's been so good at just encouraging the next generation to be curious and inspired, and we're really grateful that Jack's been able to follow along in that.
Other famous faces came to celebrate the crew, including Apollo 13 director Ron Howard.
I'm such a believer in space exploration, and and what you accomplished was extraordinary.
And Bill Nye the Science Guy stopped by to do some experiments.
3, 2, 1. Who? You felt it? I felt it. Yeah, give it another one. Whoa.
Further inspiring the next generation of space explorers. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Kids
No
to be there.
kidding.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I wonder if Gail brought up her time in space.
Probably not. It was a little different. All right, we do want to bring you real quick some more live pictures out of the villages. Marine One, we understand, is now landing in the villages. There it is right now. You are looking live at this. President Trump on his way to the villages charter school, where he is expecting to speak before about 1,000 people there inside the gymnasium, touting some of his economic proposals and tax cut plans. As we've been saying, our Matt Austin is inside the gymnasium as well. He's been speaking with people inside and outside the school. There were thousands of people who still wanted to get into that gymnasium, and as well as some protesters outside there as well. As soon as the president begins making his remarks, we're going to bring those to you live right here on News 6 and ClickOrlando.com.
Yeah, we were hoping to have them during this newscast, but he's left D.C. a little bit behind schedule, so as soon as it happens, we'll let you know.
All right, state troopers' intuition proved right after thinking one guy's story just did not add up. So take a look at this. FHP troopers pulled over a pickup truck in Winter Haven for not having a light to illuminate his trailer's license plate when they learned the driver also did not have a valid license. He told them he drove from North Carolina to get coconuts from Miami and fish from Polk County. Troopers did not buy his story, so they called in a canine, which found this: 13 live iguanas with their feet zip-tied behind their backs. He was arrested for driving with a suspended license. The iguanas were turned over to a local rescue.
I hear people in here shaking their head, but how do you hog tie an iguana and why? It is just the most ridiculous thing. And I'm glad that guy's intuition kicked in, because hopefully those
didn't make
little
sense.
animals are going to be safe now. All right, well, we'll get a look at what you can expect this weekend. We're going to check in once again with meteorologist Julie Broughton.
Yeah, and the important research that's happening on the water to protect you from what is underneath the surface. We're going to have that after the break.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Bill Ray Nissan Longwood. We do it the right way.
Welcome back. Time now is 3:44. We continue to monitor these live pictures out of the Villages, where President Trump is expecting to hold a rally there at the Villages Charter School. This is Marine One. It just landed in the Villages after Air Force One touched down in Ocala about 45 minutes ago. So we are waiting for the president to get off Marine One there. You can see his motorcade pulling up, and that's going to be taking him to the Villages Charter School. About 1,000 people are packed inside the gymnasium. They've been there for several hours now waiting for the president to arrive. Again, we're expecting this to be a bit of a political rally this afternoon, touting some of his economic proposals, tax cuts, probably going to be talking a little bit about what's happening with the war in Iran as well. News 6 anchor Matt Austin is inside the Villages Charter School. He's going to be monitoring those remarks for us as well. He's been speaking with supporters as well as a few protesters who've gathered there in the Villages this afternoon, waiting for the president's arrival. Now, this is his first public appearance since that shooting scare at the White House Correspondents' Dinner last weekend. It's been about 6 days now since that incident happened. The president was asked about that earlier today as he was making his way from Washington, D.C. to Florida. He said he's really not concerned about any sort of safety concerns. He is headed to very friendly territory in the Villages. And again, he is expecting to hold this political rally before about 1,000 people there. Many people have been waiting there for hours now. You can see the president just now getting off Marine One as he heads into his motorcade that is standing by there. We've been monitoring these pictures very closely, looking for local dignitaries who may be out there as well, waiting to greet the president. And as soon as we get any more indication as to who might be actually there to greet the president, we'll certainly bring that for you as well. Right now, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Julie Broughton. We have a weather alert on tap for us.
Yes, that is for tomorrow. So I know a lot of you have weekend plans. You know, we're all always excited about the weekend, right? So I think your outdoor plans for the first part of the day tomorrow should be all right. But here's what we're looking at. This is the overall setup, the southeastern United States. You can see we have that front kind of stalled out to our north. And as you look back over Texas, you can see that big area of low pressure. As that deepens and continues to track toward our area tomorrow, it will drag a cold front through. Now, here's a look at our risk from the Storm Prediction Center. So you see the areas in yellow, basically our northern counties. That is a slight risk for strong to severe storms. So that's a level 2. The rest of us are under that level 1, which is a marginal risk. So again, we're looking at the potential of some strong severe thunderstorms with winds gusting up to around 45 to 55 miles per hour at times. Some areas could see some heavy rain. So if you're in poorly drained areas or flood prone areas, you could be dealing with some flooding. We're looking at the potential of some hail, and we can't completely rule out the chance of an isolated tornado. So anytime we're dealing with some of these stronger storms, they could rotate. So that is something we will be here watching. Now, here's a look at the timing. So we could pop a few isolated showers this evening. Again, here's how it looks as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning and then into tomorrow afternoon. So this is 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Again, that front moving through, and you can see by that time we're looking at the potential of some heavier activity moving into Marion County, back towards Sumter County, as well as Lake County, taking you into around 6, 7, 8 o'clock. That heavier activity continues pushing to the south and east. By 9 o'clock, the most intense activity will be in areas like coastal Volusia County down through Brevard County, as well as Osceola County, before it clears out of here for the most part by around midnight Sunday morning. So again, I think we're looking at the biggest threat from around probably 2 to 8 or 9 o'clock, with a few showers out ahead of that, a few showers lingering behind that. And then Sunday, we will clear things out and cool things down quite a bit. We'll only be in the 70s for our highs on Sunday compared to near record highs tomorrow ahead of that system.
Get ready for those roller coaster rides once again.
Absolutely. Of course, if you haven't already, we would love for you to download our free News 6 weather app. It will send you weather alerts where you are. You can check the radar anytime. Just search WKMG in your app store.
Okay, so with hot temperatures in the forecast, you may be wanting to go to the beach, but you always have to keep in mind what's lurking below the surface of the water. CNN correspondent Randy Kay gives us a look at how researchers are keeping us informed about who you are sharing the water with.
Spend an afternoon with Professor Stephen Kajira.
Our goal today is to catch a blacktip shark.
And you may get closer to sharks than you'd ever dream.
All right, we're good. Go for it.
You have your tag ready? Not long after we got on the boat, he and his crew of students hooked the first of 4 blacktip sharks. All of them were released.
Hang on, kids. Hang on. We're rocking it. Letting go. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Well done.
Kajira is the resident shark expert at Florida Atlantic University.
So release time is 3:19.
And has been studying sharks for more than 30 years. He's been paying close attention to the migration of blacktips,
GT tag.
which he tracks by attaching GPS and a camera to their fins.
As they're migrating, they are very close to the beach. And it's right in the same water where the beachgoers are. Knowing more about their migration, it allows us to inform beachgoers and say, hey, listen, the sharks are here now. Keep an eye out for them.
Kajira says data shows sharks don't migrate as far south as they once did.
The average winter water temperature has risen 1 degree Celsius in just 10 years. That's a full degree difference in only a decade. And these sharks are highly tuned to their environment. They have a preferred temperature that's comfortable for them.
Which leaves more sharks farther north. In places like New Smyrna Beach, Florida, right along the migratory corridor for these sharks.
Have you ever met a shark?
Not by name. Just about stepped on them before, walking offshore, going surfing.
All kinds of bait fish swim here, and surfers come to enjoy the surf break at the jetty. That sort of activity can be really attractive to sharks.
It may be difficult for the shark to distinguish whether it's a shiny fish or just the shiny palm of your hand or the sole of your foot that's flashing.
Weeks after our boat ride back at his lab at FAU,
So this shark is heading north. You can see it's swimming north.
Kajira showed us video recovered from the shark's camera.
And this is the shark doing its thing, swimming along and exploring its world. They're going for a little shiny fish, and if the fish just sorts of disappears into the gloom like that, but there happens to be a big juicy hand, that's going to stand out, and that's going to be attractive.
Randy Kay, CNN, New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
And coming up after the break, we'll have the 6 things you can do this weekend.
plants, pottery, and you pick blueberries. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan at the Far Reach Ranch, where the Plant and Pottery Festival will be happening on Sunday. I spoke with the Director of Operations, Brendan Hamill, about what you can expect.
We have 50 vendors, some mix of plants or pottery for each of them. We also have a lot of food trucks. We'll also be running our vinyl brunch with live vinyl DJs, full brunch menu at the bar. We'll also have food trucks that are serving a brunch menu there. And as well, we'll have our blueberry U-Pick, which is by the pound.
Admission and parking are free. Up next, Hot Wheels Monster Truck Live hits Silver Springs Arena in Kissimmee this weekend. Great family fun, there will be big trucks, crazy stunts, and lots of action. Grab your tickets online. Check out the Asian Food and Cultural Festival happening all weekend at Osceola Heritage Park. Celebrate rich cultures of Asia with food, music, art, and live performances. Starts at 2 p.m. Tickets are $10. Looking for some soccer action? This Saturday, the Orlando Pride takes on the Washington Spirit at Interco Stadium. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. Greek CultureCon will be happening all weekend at the DoubleTree near Universal Studios. Check out comics, toys, collectibles, and more. Tickets are online. Women's Day out this Saturday from 10 to 3 p.m. Free entry and swag bags while they last. Shop local vendors, food trucks, and unique Mother Day gifts. And if you have a fun event happening in your town next weekend, let me know. To send in your event, head over to clickorlando.com or our new 6 app, just tap Contact Us.
All right, we have a lot more ahead on News 6 at 4 o'clock, including the presidential visit to the villages in Sumter County as a huge crowd awaiting the president to speak at the villages charter school.
Also, if you didn't know, it is game night in Orlando. The Orlando Magic looking for another big win tonight. Our Jamie Say will have a live report for us from the Kia Center. We'll have that for you coming up after the break.
streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at 4.
And this is News 6 at 4 on a Friday. We begin with breaking news as President Trump has now arrived in Central Florida.
This is video from about 45 minutes ago when the president landed in Ocala. He is now on his way to the Villages where he is expected to speak.
Yeah, this trip comes less than a week after a scare last Saturday during the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. More live pictures now. This is inside the Villages Charter School, where a crowd of 1,000 people have been allowed in. They got in to the building about noon today, but according to our Matt Austin, who's been out there all day today, there are people who've been waiting to get into this facility since 4 o'clock yesterday. So they're very excited to hear President Trump speak. Of course, he is in a very friendly area. This is Sumter County in the Villages. Big support for the president here. He's expected to give a huge speech where he is going to be addressing probably what happened last Saturday night, although he already talked about that a little bit. He's going to be talking about, no doubt, the war in Iran and the economic condition of the United States right now, because that's on the mind of a lot of people. He's got a lot of political support out there as well. Byron Donalds, who he has already endorsed as the next governor of Florida, has already spoken to our Matt Austin out there. So a lot of people in the crowd and waiting to see who else will show up. Of course, when the president does speak, we will bring it to you live here and, of course, on clickorlando.com.
All right, we want to take a live look now at our camera in Daytona Beach, where if you want to head outside, tonight might be the time to do that because there are some pretty big changes in store for us this weekend.
Meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now with what we can expect and the timing of it all. Julie.
Well, first of all, you should know we have designated tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening weather alert days because we are looking at the potential of some strong to severe storms starting tomorrow afternoon. Now, here's what we're looking at right now over downtown Orlando on our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Together camera. 91 degrees as winds ahead of that system that will bring those changes are coming in out of the south around 10 miles per hour. If you're in Sanford, you're at 90 degrees. It is 92 in the Villages right now, and we're looking at 85 degrees in Daytona Beach. Now, we've had a front stalled out to our north. Big area of low pressure is going to continue developing, deepening, and pulling a cold front through our area during the day tomorrow into tomorrow evening. So that does mean if you're shaded in yellow, so our northern counties, you are under a level 2, a slight risk by the Storm Prediction Center of foreseeing some strong to severe storms. The rest of us under that marginal risk. So we're looking at the potential of some gusty winds, a lot of lightning. We could see some hail and a very low chance that some of these storms could rotate for us. Of course, we'll be here tracking that for you throughout the day, and I'll time out these showers and thunderstorms for you coming up in just a few minutes. And we will talk about what is waiting behind that system for us as we head into the latter part of our weekend.
All right, Julie, thank you. Now is a great time to make sure to download our News 6 weather app. It sends personalized weather alerts and gives you access to our radar. Just search WKMG in your app store.
Deltona High School is the first school in the nation to test drones that will respond to emergencies on campus. The drones from a defense company called Campus Guardian Angel are non-lethal but designed to find an active shooter. Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed is on Deltona's campus and shows us a demonstration on how these drones actually work.
If there's an emergency situation on Deltona High School's campus now, instead of waiting for law enforcement or the SRD to get to it, they can now deploy these drones that they say can get to the situation within 15 seconds. The drones are in these boxes, and when the emergency alert comes in,
Campus Guardian Angel, what's the emergency?
The box opens, they fly out and find an active shooter. They give real-time video to law enforcement.
If you come around the corner and it's kind of like a Parkland thing where he's shooting into classrooms, then we need to do something really quickly, so we escalate a lot faster.
They're also packed with systems to distract and deter the threat, like sirens, flashing lights, and pepper spray.
Once you get 3 drones on you, right, you mentioned this, the sound, it's like it's a little unnerving. So people want to get away from that, or they want to try to attack it. And if they're doing either one of those things, that's great, because they're not shooting people.
all happening while law enforcement is en route. Behind the drones are some of the fastest drone racing operators in the world, based in Austin, Texas, controlling them virtually. It's a multi-layer security approach with AI gun detection in Volusia County schools, too.
They have a location and they've got a picture of the guy, right? So if somebody took a gun out of their trunk in the parking lot, I would get that cue.
And at the end of installation, they say there will be 39 of these drones here on Deltona High's campus. But of course, the hope is...
I hope these drones never see the light of day. That is really the ultimate goal, is the drones stay in their nice little boxes and never come out of them.
Now, Deltona High School is the first to have them installed in this state, but it'll be one of 3 schools in this pilot program in Florida. Again, the first in the nation to be trying this technology out. If this pilot goes well, that could lead to installation of these drones in every school in Florida. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
The NFL is standing firm behind a long-standing diversity policy, the Rooney Rule. Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer gave the league a deadline of today to respond to a lawsuit. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell previously stated that the league intends to keep the policy in place. The Rooney Rule was created in 2003. It requires NFL teams to interview minority candidates for top jobs like head coach and general manager. AG Uthmeyer demanded the league scrap that policy in Florida. He warned that if the NFL does not comply, Florida is prepared to take legal action. We have yet to hear from either side.
All right, we are now just hours away until tip-off in Orlando. Your Orlando Magic looking to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals today. They lead the series 3-2 after losing Game 5 in Detroit to the Pistons. The excitement is buzzing. Sports Director Jamie Say is live at the Kia Center this afternoon, getting ready for tonight's big game. Tip-off at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, tip-off is at 7 o'clock, Ginger, and we know this place is going to be rocking. We'll see if the Magic can take it to an even higher level. This is the opportunity that they have hoped for, to be able to close out the series with the Pistons at home and advance to the next round. We know fans are going to be excited. The Magic are excited, too, because they know the lift and the energy that the Kia Center can give them. We've seen it before in the playoffs. The Magic have typically responded to that energy and lift. They beat the Pistons in games 3 and 4 in this building to improve to 7-1 in postseason home games over the last 3 years. That's phenomenal. However, they will have to win tonight without Franz Wagner. He's out with the calf strain, and they do have to be at their best to eliminate the number 1 seed in the East. We were at Magic Shoot-Around this morning. They are ready to take advantage of home court.
I'm sure our fans are going to be great. You know, I'm excited to play in front of them. You know, come out, play hard, be the team that we've been, you know, throughout the series.
The Kia Center is a heck of an advantage. It's unbelievable. Like, we have one of the loudest crowds in the NBA and the best fans in the NBA. So I think it creates such an advantage for us.
Over my last years, our playoff appearances, you know, the Kia Center has never disappointed us. So I'm excited. I'm excited for, you know, what they're going to do tonight. And they're definitely going to be a key factor in us getting this dub tonight for sure.
Wendell Carter expressing some confidence. Check it out. It's going to be another blackout tonight for Game 6. T-shirts at the seats of all the fans. Let's take a closer look at the T-shirt that fans are going to wear tonight as they cheer on the Orlando Magic tonight in Game 6 against Detroit. If the Magic win, they will advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2010. If they do not beat the Pistons, though, Detroit will host Game 7 on Sunday. Live at the Kia Center in downtown Orlando, Jamie Say, News 6.
All right, Jamie, thank you. Best of luck to the Orlando Magic tonight, of course. All right, we're going to take you back out live to the Villages where President Trump just took the stage. This is at the Villages Charter School. He's arrived there now to a very excited crowd. You can see them taking pictures and pumping their fists as the president is just kind of taking it all in. When he starts speaking, we're going to listen in to what he has to say to this very excited crowd. And it looks like he's going to start speaking any moment now. But this is what they've been waiting for, some of them for more than 24 hours.
Yes, as we listen to some of the music there, the president is expected to really focus on a lot of his economic policies and proposals. So that's what we're really expecting him to hone in on, including some of his priorities like lowering the cost of prescription drugs, eliminating taxes on tips and overtime pay, as well as extending some Social Security benefits. We're also expecting him to perhaps talk about what's happening with the war in Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Security, of course, extremely tight. This event, the first for the president, public event at least, since the White House Correspondents' Dinner last weekend, where an armed suspect tried to barge into the room where the president was sitting, and he spoke about that incident before leaving the White House earlier this afternoon, essentially saying that he's not worried about it at all. He doesn't even think about the security. So the president has been in Florida for about an hour now. Air Force One landing in Ocala. He then hopped aboard Marine One, which took him to the Villages. And then that was about a 15-minute drive in his motorcade to the Villages Charter School where he is now.
And he's just giving the crowd a little bit of what they came for, because they just really just love to applaud, and he's taking it all in. And I know you said earlier that, and he said earlier that he really wasn't thinking about his own security, but the Secret Service, they are really thinking about it. Our Matt Austin had to go through that security sweep to get in this building, and security has been very, very tight. And as that song wraps up, hopefully that'll be the cue for the president to start speaking. So let's listen in.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody, and it's great to be here. I'm thrilled to be back in the home of a great place. I love Florida. We love Florida. With all of the very proud, great American patriots of the Villages. Are we happy with the Villages? We like the Villages. Now, you know, I shouldn't be here. There was just an attempt, I won't use the word, an attempt, they say, on my life. I should be indoors at a secure facility where I can quietly, beautifully, and safely play out my term, destroying everything that comes in our way, like bad countries that want to get nuclear weapons. We'll take care of that. So they want me to be in a secure place. I said, what's more secure than the Villages? Here we go. Now, I heard the seniors were waiting at the Villages, and there's no way we got like 97% of the vote. Remember all those frauds? They said, whoa. Remember Sleepy Joe and Kamala? They came up, oh, we love you more than Trump. And you said, no, you don't. You don't love us more, you a bunch of phony bastards. But as you know, this is the single largest community of seniors anywhere in the world, and frankly, it's the largest crowd you've ever had assembled. You know, it's very interesting. They built this, but when I first started, they didn't have this. We had a little tiny room, so we went outside. We had a tremendous crowd, but I don't know if you see what's going on. They have an overflow room that's bigger than this. Why the hell didn't I go there to start off with? What's going on? And then they have outside, they have thousands and thousands of people, and we love them all. We love them all. So we're here to celebrate a policy that benefits every American senior all across this land, and it's called No Tax on Social Security. It's done. It's done. You know, I took a poll at one of the events. I said no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, or no tax on Social Security, all of them. So let's do it now. Let's do another poll. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax. So what you do is you're going to cheer for the one you like the most of the three, all right? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security. you, Dr. Phil. That's the one they like. This Social Security, I thought that was maybe a sleeper. This is more than a sleeper. No tax on Social Security for our great seniors. That's what we like, right? So our great, big, beautiful bill was the largest tax cut in American history. And as a result, more than 51 million American seniors now pay a federal tax rate of 0. 0. And this isn't talk. This isn't, I'm going to get it for you. Look, these guys up here, front row Joes, they're all over. I can't get rid of them. What are you, 219? I think they're 219. Really, they are sick individuals, but we love them. I don't know what the hell they do, but they have money someplace because they do a lot of traveling. Look at the front row Joes. But we provide seniors, and we have a record-setting average tax deduction this year of more than $7,500. Think of that. You know, it's been amazing. And on all of them, people, and I've seen it even on the fake news. Look at all the fake news back there. What? That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fake news. That's a lot of fakers. Did you see where they had a study done, and Trump on the evening news gets 93% bad publicity, 93. And yet, I won in a landslide. Now, you know what that means? Now think of it. 93%. And you know, like with Kamala, she made a bad statement on CBS 60 Minutes, and they had to pay me a lot of money, $38 million. You know what she did? Her statement was so bad the night before the election, it was so bad, that they took another answer that she gave, which was not bad. It wasn't good. It was nothing. And they put it in where she, and we found out they did it. They changed the answers. BBC has me AI saying about hate. We hate, we hate. I said, that's not me. They changed my lips. I couldn't even tell myself. I said, I didn't know. This gets very, but think of it, 93% bad stories, only bad. And if it's a good story, they make it bad. You know, you can make anything bad. You could have a baseball team won 21-2, and the writer says they should have won by more. That's where we are. We're winning 25-0, and they say we should be doing more. There's never been a first term of a president, they say, and even the radical left lunatics say it, that's accomplished more than we have. It's never happened. Never happened. But just to finish off, you know, I love the weave because they say we should be doing more. There's never been a first term of a president, they say, and even the radical left lunatics say it, that's accomplished more than we have. It's never happened. Never happened. But just to finish off, you know, I love the weave because the weave is great. You go out, Pa, go out. You always have to come back. Someday I won't come back, and they'll say, all right, he's shot. That's the end of him. The weave, I call it, the weave, because you get a lot of stories into one little sentence. But when you have 93% and you win in a landslide, you know. And here in the Sunshine State, we've issued 2.5 million Florida seniors over $13 billion. Now think of that. Now, I don't happen to be a senior. I'm much younger than you. I'm a much younger man than you. Look at you old guys. Wouldn't you like to be my age? It's young, vital, vibrant. Now, I'm much, much younger than the people in this room, but I feel I can relate to you anyway. See, now the fake news will go tonight, and they'll say, he's claiming to be younger than the people. Do you understand? That means more money to visit your grandkids, bigger budget for taking a trip to someplace that you want to go, or extra dinners out with your family. You're going to do a lot. You're going to do a lot. You know what to do with the money. But I saw it recently. People are being interviewed. And yeah, why don't you sit down here? Come on, front row Joe, sit down. Get them all to sit down. You know, it must be good when front row Joes still stand up after 300 or something, whatever the hell. They're still standing. That's pretty good. But It's been an amazing period of time. Our country is hot again. We have a great country again. We're respected as a country again. So these are your golden years, but these are really beyond your golden years. This is the golden age of America. That's where we are. We're in a period of time, and you've lived, and you're going to live a long time longer, but you're going right now through the golden age of America. The crooked Joe Biden people, these are radical left lunatics that almost destroyed our country. I'll tell you what, if we didn't win this election, I believe our country was dead. I don't think it could have sustained the open borders, transgender mutilization of your children. I believe our country, men playing in women's sports, they say that's an 80-20 issue. It's not. It's a 99-1 issue.
All right. You have been listening to President Trump speak to a crowd at the Village's charter school. He's going to continue, and we will continue to stream it on clickorlando.com if you'd like to continue to watch. We'll be right back.
This portion of the news is sponsored by True Deals Realty.
Welcome back. The time now is 4:23. I'm meteorologist Julie Broughton, and we do want to make you aware that tomorrow afternoon and evening have been designated weather alert days. We are looking at the chance of strong to severe storms. I think the best timing on this would be starting in our northern counties like Marion County by around 2 o'clock and then clearing our southern counties by around 11 o'clock, although I think the main threat will wrap up a little bit earlier than 11 o'clock. And we're talking about the potential of some winds gusting at times up to around 45 to 50 miles miles per hour. We could see some small hail, some heavy rain, some lightning, and we can't rule out the chance of an isolated tornado. So we will be here monitoring that very closely for you throughout the day tomorrow. Here's a look at our risk categories from the Storm Prediction Center out of Norman, Oklahoma, where you see the areas of yellow. That is where we are at a level 2, so a slight risk. The rest of us, so really from about New Smyrna Beach through Sanford on over toward Leesburg and south, that is where we are under that marginal risk for those strong to severe storms. Here's the setup as we take a look at the southeastern United States. We have this front that has been stalled out to our north. That's brought us enough energy for a few isolated showers. An area of low pressure over the Gulf that is deepening as that continues lifting to the north and east, along with the trough in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere. That will drag a cold front into our area, and that will bring us those storms. However, we are looking at a hot day tomorrow, windy conditions, and we will have low relative humidity, certainly for the first part of the day tomorrow. So we do have a fire weather watch posted for our southern counties from about noon until 8 o'clock tomorrow because of that sensitive fire weather. Now, I want to time out the showers and storms for you. I know a lot of you have plans for your Saturday morning, for your weekend, so this evening we're in good shape. Overnight, not anticipating any issues as we start the day at 7 o'clock. I know a lot of soccer games and kids' sports will be happening tomorrow. I think those will be fine. We could start to see a few isolated showers by around noon. Here comes our front, and then by around 2 or 3 o'clock, if you're up in areas like Marion County, especially western Marion County, that's when we'll start to see some of the more intense activity moving in. By 5 o'clock, that's going down through the villages, tracking toward Leesburg. By around 6 o'clock, through the I-4 corridor and reaching areas like Daytona Beach, down toward Cape Canaveral. 8 o'clock, I think the greatest threat will really be from about Orlando south, and then taking to around 9 o'clock. I think by that time, most of the threat should be over, with just a little bit of rain sticking around. And then behind that on Sunday, we clear things out, and we will see a much cooler day for our Sunday. Right now, Launch Credit Union camera at Port Canaveral showing 84 degrees. We've been warm along the coast today, but you can see a lot of folks sitting in the low 90s, including Wedgefield at 92, and it is 90 right now in Bellevue. Your hour-by-hour forecast featuring Macy. Of course, the Kentucky Derby is tomorrow, so she is ready for that. I'm so jealous. 89 degrees at 7 o'clock, 85 degrees at 8 o'clock. 7-day forecast again showing that chance of strong to severe storms tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening. Big cool down for your Sunday, only in the 70s, then back in the 90s by Wednesday.
New today, we are taking a look at the Florida unemployment numbers for the month of March.
And they are raising some concerns. The state unemployment now sits at 4.7%. That is up from 4.6% in February and way up from 3.6% a year ago. Florida's rate is also higher than the national average of 4.3%. The latest report also says Florida added 28,000 jobs over the month, but is still down 22,000 jobs for the year.
And we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is another live look from the Villages. This is inside the Villages Charter School where President Trump is still speaking. He started speaking maybe about 15 or 20 minutes ago to this crowd of about 1,000 people inside. Very excited to see the president as they greeted him warmly on the stage. Our Matt Austin is live in that room right now. We're going to get to him live at the end of the speech when the president starts to wrap up. But you can watch this entire speech uninterrupted right now by going to clickorlando.com. All right, we are tracking some big changes in the forecast this weekend. Tomorrow is a weather alert day. Meteorologist Julie Broughton joins us now with what we can expect. Julie.
We can expect some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon. I do think some of these do have the potential to be strong. That's why we have designated tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening weather alert days. Now, I think the timing for some of that stronger activity will be from about 2 o'clock moving into our northern counties. And then the biggest threat will begin to clear our southern counties by by around 8 or 9 o'clock. Now, we do have that slight risk, which is a level 2 for all of our counties shaded in yellow, and then that marginal risk from the Storm Prediction Center for the areas shaded in green. So the farther north you are, the better chance you have of some of those stronger storms. We could be talking about the potential of some heavy rain, a lot of lightning. If you're in a low-lying area that's flood prone, you could be dealing with some flooding, and we can't rule out the potential of some hail as well as some rotating thunderstorms. That's why we'll be here throughout the day tomorrow, keeping a very close eye on the situation for you. Now, this is all going to be out ahead of a cold front. Once that front clears, we will be much cooler on Sunday, only topping out in the upper 70s. We'll time out those showers for you hour by hour and take a look ahead into next week, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Julie, thank you. Now is a good time to make sure to download our News 6 weather app. It will send personalized weather alerts and gives you access to our radar. Just search WKMG in your app store.
New tonight, no deal to put those life-saving life rings back on the beach in Brevard County. The fight over who owns the rings headed to court today.
It is the Rotary Club versus a nonprofit called Drown Zero. So this weekend, heading into severe weather and strong rip currents, there are sections of the beach that will have no rescue rings and no lifeguards.
Your Cocoa Beach community correspondent James Barbero asked the attorneys some pretty tough questions.
The groups fighting over who owns life-saving emergency flotation devices are bringing their dispute here to court, all while swimmers at the beach without lifeguards still don't have those emergency life rings to grab if they need them.
It's terrible. It's absolutely a tragedy.
The greed of the Rotary Club has taken over. And
attorneys I talked to on both sides blaming each other for how these couple dozen life rings, which used to be in a position to save lives, have now been in storage for more than a week.
And part of why we're here today is to get the stations back.
A board member of the Rotary Club who took the stand said while former lifeguard chief Wyatt Werneth of Drown Zero had the idea for the life rings, it was the Rotary Club who rolled them out and maintained them.
There's no safety.
Meanwhile, at South 4th Street, where 2 people drowned last month, this visitor told me he'd like to see them back.
I mean, I heard there was an accident, so be more cautious about it.
What would you say to people who feel like this is unnecessary to have a spat like this?
Completely agree.
Why not put them back while this lawsuit plays out so the public can benefit?
Well, I agree, and I'd love to. And I've written personally to the attorney for the city of Cocoa Beach asking if we can have permission during this to do so. I have not received anything back.
Cocoa Beach's mayor told me the rings have nothing to do with the city government, only the Rotary Club and Drown Zero. I'll let you know when they have another hearing and if then the rings might come back to the beach. In Brevard County, I'm your Cocoa Beach community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
Well, the Artemis II crew has been very busy since coming back from their historic mission around the moon. In fact, this morning they were celebrated at the New York Stock Exchange right here.
They were very busy this morning. It was one of their stops in New York City before heading to the CBS Morning Studio for a special town hall. Jared Hill has the highlights, which include some special guest appearances.
The crew of Artemis II walked out to cheers and applause during Friday's special edition of CBS Mornings.
So nice to see you on Earth, guys.
Commander Reed Weissman, pilot Victor Glover, and mission specialist Christina Cook and Jeremy Hansen came by to talk about their history-making mission around the moon.
When you were coming back, was it more nerve-wracking going up or coming back down?
Well, it's really from launch to landing, but it doesn't end until those chutes come out. But for the landing, it's like all the sights, all the feels. It's like the best roller coaster ride you've ever been on.
The astronauts also answered questions from kids in the audience.
If every student on Earth could experience just one moment from your Artemis II mission, which moment would you choose?
Good question.
Wow. The view. If you could see all of Earth in one glance,
yes,
that is a very special perspective.
Yeah, Earth.
And there is a very special gift for 5-year-old Jack Wineski, whose excitement at the launch captured hearts around the globe.
It says NASA. It does.
We caught up with him wearing his new suit.
Jack, what do you think about your new suit?
It's great.
Everyone's been so good at just encouraging the next generation to be curious and inspired, and we're really grateful that Jack's been able to follow along in that.
Other famous faces came to celebrate the crew, including Apollo 13 director Ron Howard.
I'm such a believer in space exploration, and and what you accomplished was extraordinary.
And Bill Nye the Science Guy stopped by to do some experiments.
3, 2, 1. Boo, you felt it?
I felt it.
Yeah, give it another one.
Whoa! Further inspiring the next generation of space explorers. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
I can relate to that kid's excitement.
It is so true that it really has inspired kids. I saw it with my own kids.
Yeah.
A 9-year-old who never has really expressed that much interest in space. He had so many questions during that whole time when they were, the 10 days that they were going around the moon. Even the other day with the full moon now. He's like, can you believe
Pays
that there were
attention to
astronauts
what's up
around
there.
there?
See, guys, it
Love
works.
it. Well, sharks are no strangers to Florida's coastline.
Volusia County dubbed Shark Bite Capital of the World. But how are researchers tracking those sharks' movements? Up next, a look at the methods experts are using.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Original Mattress Factory.
It was very scary.
Well, earlier this week, we told you about 17-year-old Lulu Gribben. She lost her right leg and most of her left arm when she was attacked by a shark near Rosemary Beach in Northwest Florida when she was just 15 years old. After that attack, it was discovered that there was another shark attack in the same area just 90 minutes earlier. So the U.S. Senate passed Lulu's Law, which sends alerts to nearby phones similar to an Amber Alert, notifying people within 5 miles of an attack. Sharks are no strangers here in Central Florida. Volusia County is known as the shark bite capital of the world.
So it's one thing to track attacks, but what about the creatures themselves? CNN correspondent Randy Kay gives us a look at how researchers are keeping us informed about who you're sharing the water with.
Spend an afternoon with Professor Stephen Kajira.
Our goal today is to catch a blacktip shark.
And you may get closer to sharks than you'd ever dream.
All right, we're good. Go for it.
You have your tag ready?
Not long after we got on the boat, he and his crew of students hooked the first of 4 black-tip sharks. All of them were released.
Hang on, kids. Hang on. We're rocking it. Let him go. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. Well done.
Kajira is the resident shark expert at Florida Atlantic University.
So release time is 3:19.
And has been studying sharks for more than 30 years. He's been paying close attention to the migration of blacktips,
Chichi tag.
which he tracks by attaching GPS and a camera to their fins.
As they're migrating, they are very close to the beach. And it's right in the same water where the beachgoers are. Knowing more about their migration, it allows us to inform beachgoers and say, hey, listen, the sharks are here now, keep an eye out for them.
Kajira says data shows sharks don't migrate as far south as they once did.
The average winter water temperature has risen 1 degree Celsius in just 10 years. That's a full degree difference in only a decade. And these sharks are highly tuned to their environment. They have a preferred temperature that's comfortable for them.
Which leaves more sharks farther north. In places like New Smyrna Beach, Florida, right along the migratory corridor for these sharks.
Have you ever met a shark?
Not by name. Just about stepped on them before, walking offshore, going surfing.
All kinds of bait fish swim here, and surfers come to enjoy the surf break at the jetty. That sort of activity can be really attractive to sharks.
It may be difficult for the shark to distinguish whether it's a shiny fish or just the shiny palm of your hand or the sole of your foot that's flashing.
Weeks after our boat ride back at his lab at FAU,
So this shark is heading north. You can see it's swimming north.
Kajira showed us video recovered from the shark's camera.
And this is the shark doing its thing, swimming along and exploring its world. They're going for a little shiny fish, and if the fish just sorts of disappears into the gloom like that, but there happens to be a big juicy hand, that's going to stand out, and that's going to be attractive.
Randy Kay, CNN, New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
It's amazing how much we don't know about sharks.
I know they don't even know where they had their babies or anything like that, but what we do know is that they're closer than we think. I got to go out with O-Search a few years ago, and less than half a mile offshore, they were pinging everywhere.
Well, yeah, not even that far offshore.
Yeah.
I mean, knee-deep water. We cover it all the time.
All the time.
Yep. All right. Meteorologist Julie Broughton joining us now. Probably a lot of people at the beach tonight, maybe early tomorrow before heading indoors.
Right, absolutely. I mean, this is not a total washout tomorrow. I think whatever you have going on for the first part of the day tomorrow, really before noon, you should be in pretty good shape. But do keep in mind tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening are weather alert days because we have a slight risk for our northern counties shaded in yellow and a marginal risk for our counties shaded in green for some of those strong to severe storms. So here's what we're looking at. I think the biggest threat for timing will be from around 2 o'clock in our northern counties, and then we should see the threat clearing our southern counties by 11 o'clock, I think, at the latest. All of this is thanks to a cold front, and we're going to be looking at the potential of gusty winds. We could see some hail, some heavy rain, of course, a lot of lightning, and we can't rule out the possibility of some rotating storms. So we'll be here throughout the day tomorrow, keeping a very close eye on all of this for you. Here's a look at the setup. So again, a big area, a big trough in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere will continue to deepen. At the surface, an area of low pressure lifts to the northeast. That drags a cold front through our area, and it's ahead of that front that we'll see those showers and storms. We're also looking at sensitive fire conditions ahead of that with the low relative humidity as well as just the heat out there and the dry vegetation. So we do have fire weather watches in place for our southern counties. Then behind that system, we'll see high pressure building in, and that will bring a pretty quiet week for us. So here's what it looks like for you right now. There's the stalled out front. Again, here is our area of low pressure that will drag that cold front through tomorrow. Right now, well out ahead of that, we are seeing dry conditions, radar scanning not finding any showers for us to track. But here's the timing of those stronger storms as we take you into this evening, looking good. Overnight, we'll see some clouds increasing in the first part of the day tomorrow for all the kids' sports activities, maybe a little beach time, pool time. You should be in good shape. I think at noon, most of us are still dry, but by between 2 and 3 o'clock, we'll start to see that front moving moving into our northern counties, bringing along with it the potential of some of those heavier showers, stronger storms by around 5 o'clock from about Daytona Beach all the way back through the Villages, back down toward Lake Panasoffkee. Seeing some of that more intense activity. I think the threat begins to shift by 7 o'clock, closer to areas like Cape Canaveral, back through Kissimmee. Still some lingering rain behind that by around 8 or 9 o'clock, but you'll notice by 10 o'clock, mostly seeing some green, so looking a lot better by then. And the front has been speeding up on some of the model runs, so that is something we'll continue to watch as well. Daytona Beach sky cam showing lots of blue sky out there right now, sitting at 85 degrees. Some of us still around 90, 91 right now in Orlando. That has been our high so far of the day. Your hour-by-hour forecast keeping it warm this evening. This is Minnie. She's having a great Friday night, so I look forward to doing what she's doing in the next couple of hours. 89 degrees at 7 o'clock, 85 degrees at 8 o'clock. 7-day forecast again, weather alert day tomorrow, 93 tomorrow, and then only in the upper 70s for your Sunday. We should be quiet next week.
All right, Julie, thank you. Well, we will be right back where we'll check in with the president in the Villages once again when we return. Welcome back. We are taking another live look at the president, where he is speaking to a crowd of supporters at the Villages Charter School at the Villages in Sumter County. Let's listen in.
Never seen, and all of that, electricity, gasoline, anything having to do with energy. Grocery prices are way down. Used car prices are way down. Look at eggs. Eggs are down by 4, even 5 times. Remember when I took over, eggs were so high? Remember my first news conference as president of second term? 2 days in, I said, ladies and gentlemen, do you have any questions? What about eggs? I said, what? egg prices are 4 times higher than they were a year ago. I said, I just got here. I've only been here for a day and a half. And we had a problem with eggs. The prices were through the roof. I got them down to now they're lower than they were at the lowest point 4 years ago. Think of that. But I got them down. Does anybody write about it? No. That's why I like doing speeches. You know, they don't write about it, so I do speeches. That way I can talk about it. Sometimes you got to do it yourself. Earlier this year, I directed Fannie and Freddie to buy, you know what that is? Well, where's Bill? Where's Bill Pulte? He's around here someplace. He's done what a great job. He's created $1 trillion value. Look at him over there. He's jumping. Smart guy. During my first term, I was offered, sounds like a lot of money, but it's very little compared to what, less than $100 million to buy Fannie and Freddie. And I said, nope, I don't want to sell it. Don't sell it. They wanted to sell it so badly. And now it's worth over $1 trillion. If I would have sold it, I would have felt like a schmuck, you know, to be honest. It's worth over $1 trillion. What is it, about $1 trillion now, right? He says higher. No, we could have sold it. We could have given it away for nothing, practically nothing. So I directed Fannie and Freddie to buy $200 billion in mortgage bonds, bringing interest rates plummeting down from nearly 8% under Sleepy Joe and 6% even lower. And don't forget, we had a hostile Fed. We had a guy, too late. We call him too late. He's too late with interest reductions. Jerome Too Late Powell. We had I haven't figured out, is he a bad guy or a dumb guy? But it doesn't matter. The end result, he's either dumb, bad, maybe he's a combination of both. But in any event, because rates, we would have had them even lower, but we've done great considering that we're fighting. Now we have a great Federal Reserve chair coming in, and he's going to be fantastic, Kevin Warsh. We've reduced the annual cost of a typical new mortgage by $4,000. Think of that, $4,000 a year after decades of other countries stealing our jobs and plundering our wealth, taking advantage of our country.
All right, we'll continue to stream this for you on clickorlando.com. News 6 at 5 is next. Now at 5, President Donald Trump making a trip to Central Florida and appearing in public for the first time since last weekend's assassination attempt. We're live with the key topics he's discussing and calls for criminal charges in a local animal rights controversy.
This is one of those issues that transcends party lines.
What state leaders are pushing for when it comes to accountability at Sloth World. Plus,
I'm Molly Reed in Deltona. We're going to show you how these drones will help in emergency situations and why Deltona High School is the first campus in Florida to use them.
You're watching News 6 at 5. And breaking tonight, President Trump speaking publicly for the first time since last weekend's assassination attempt right here in Central Florida.
News 6's Matt Austin is there in the Villages. We're going to hear from Matt shortly. You can also stream the entire speech right now on clickorlando.com. But let's listen in to what the president has to say.
If you have children that you love, it's very important. If you don't love your children, then it doesn't matter too much. Who cares? Oh, I know some that won't leave their kids. They hate their kids, but, you know, these are bad people. They're usually very wealthy, too. I don't know what that's all about. But we have no inheritance tax. We have no death tax. Who really affects is the farmer, the small farmers, medium-sized farmers. They're called land-rich, cash-poor. You know, they have beautiful land. It's very valuable, but they don't make tremendous income. And they die. They leave it to their children. Their children goes out to the local banker, borrows money to pay the tax because the tax was 50% and more. And they end up losing their farm. In many cases, they love their life. They commit suicide. It's a crazy thing. They lose their whole life and they commit suicide. There's no more of that. So when you die, you leave your farm or your small business to your children. You have no estate tax. You have no death tax. I think that's a big deal. To me, that's a big deal, right? Byron, that's a good one, right? That's good. You know, you want to lead your way of life. You don't want to be forced to sell your farm. Sometimes you can't sell your farm for what they think it's worth, and you have nothing but trouble. What a problem it was. You don't have to worry about it anymore. We made interest on new car loans tax deductible, but only if you buy a car that's made in America. Otherwise, we couldn't care less. That's a big deal. So that you go out and you borrow money to buy a car, and, you know, you paid interest, you didn't get, now you get a deduction. That's like 40, 50%. It's like a phenomenal thing. You get 100% deduction on interest. So the interest payments that you make to the bank for the car loan, you're able to deduct that from income tax. Now, it has to be made in America. So go buy American cars or cars that are made in America. And we also created the brand new Trump accounts along with a really fantastic family, the Dell family. Have you used their computers recently? Susan and Michael Dell, they're amazing people. He put up $6.25 billion. A lot of people said, I'm going to match him on the 250, but even the 250 is a lot. Think of it. He was the first one. He bought $6.25 billion of these accounts for children all over the country. And it was just announced this morning that it's setting records so that, you know, when your beautiful baby, we have an automatic $1,000 contribution for every newborn child. And it allows everyone to contribute to a tax-free savings account for your grandchildren. A lot of people are buying it for their grandchildren to benefit them. So that after they turn 18, they could have $100,000, $125,000, $150,000, depending on what goes on. And they can be sort of rich. And it's an amazing thing, and it's like a wildfire. It's doing so great, right, Scott? It's been really an amazing thing. And with us today is a grandmother who lives in the Villages named Mary Alice. After a long career in the Michigan real estate and automobile industry, she and her husband retired to the Villages. And thanks to our great, big, beautiful bill, I love that bill. You know, we have 4 years' worth of stuff. That's why we call it the great, big, beautiful bill. We were going to have 19 separate bills. And I said to Mike Johnson, John Thune, I said, fellas, Speaker of the House, head of the Senate, I said, let's try for one big, beautiful, because I don't know, these Democrats are crazy. And it was early. We had a little bit of a honeymoon, just a little tiny bit. I said, let's see if we can get everything in one bill. And everyone said, no way, you're not going to do it. It's the greatest, it's the biggest thing ever passed in the history of our country, the great big beautiful, and it's mostly, it should be called the great big beautiful tax cut bill. But also we have tremendous regulatory cuts, and that's why your jobs are so good, because all of these people, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, everything, they're able to take regulations with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's not going to put you out of business. There are tremendous regulation cuts, and it's really been amazing. So they just received a tax refund of double the size of anything that they've ever gotten. Think of this, Mary Alice, for years she's gotten peanuts, and now she's gotten a tax of double the size, and in many cases 4 or 5 times the size of anything she ever got before. So Mary Alice is now considered a rich person. Come on up, Mary Alice, say a few words. Come on up. Oh, look at her. She looks good. She's a rich woman. Come on, Mary.
Thank you, President Trump. It's such a pleasure to meet you.
Hey, wait, let me get this out. You want me to get that out? Wait.
Oh, yeah, because I'm really short.
You can, I think you'll be good.
Hi, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank President Trump for everything he's done for all of us. And the big, beautiful bill helped my husband and I so much this year. We were so shocked when we picked up our tax return and the accountant told us how much money we were getting back. We were just thrilled. It was double what we thought we would get. We ended up using some of that money to pay for a new roof. Now, we all know we live in Florida and we all need roofs. So we were able to use some of that money for the new roof, and we're thrilled that we were able to do that, and we didn't deplete our savings account. So and this is all because of the no tax on Social Security. And, you know, we live on a income that's
Okay, so you can continue to watch this entire speech, and you can even start it from the very beginning by going to clickorlando.com. All right, time now for a look at our forecast, and we understand some changes are afoot. We have a weather alert day scheduled for tomorrow. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas is here to map out the time.
Yeah, and that's the thing, the big change that put us in the severe weather alert day for tomorrow, due to the fact that now the front is looking like it's going to come through during peak heating, which increases the instability and raises the opportunity for some of the stronger thunderstorms in the mix. The timeline of that, I'm going to be looking at you guys in Marion County, Flagler County to start things off tomorrow. Right around that 1 to 2 o'clock time frame, it's going to be knocking on the door, and then as we get closer to dinner time, pushing through the I-4 corridor. Gusty winds going to be the main threat, maybe the opportunity for some hail as well. The chance is there. It is low for a couple of tornado warnings, but nonetheless, I think the main risk is going to be damaging wind gusts. You see the moisture plume going right across the North Gulf Coast as it's skirting through Texas, parts of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi right now. By tomorrow afternoon, again, a lot of that moisture going to be on our doorstep again. I'm going to take you hour by hour and show you the highest chance for the severe weather threat coming up at about 5:17, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Spirit Airlines could shut down in just a matter of hours. Sources tell CBS News Spirit Airlines may cease operations as soon as tomorrow unless a last-minute deal comes together. Negotiations over a $500 million government aid package have stalled with no guarantee of a bailout here, even though President Trump said today the administration was looking at the deal. CBS says the airline is planning to stop operations. Spirit serves dozens of cities, including major hubs right here in Florida, leaving thousands of travelers and employees in limbo.
Now at 5, a criminal investigation into the Sloth World attraction amid growing calls for accountability. The state attorney general's office says it is assisting in a probe into the company after at least 32 sloths died ahead of the attraction's planned opening. Your Orange County community correspondent Mike Valenti walks us through what we're learning.
There's not much to see when you look inside Sloth World. Construction was still going on when this controversy blew up. A controversy that has now stifled plans to open Sloth World. But right now, I want to bring your attention to a different building, about a 5-minute drive away. It's a Sloth World warehouse, or at least it was, until an Orange County building inspector placed a stop work order on the door. Turns out the warehouse had a permit for vehicle storage only, not for animals. Still, this is where reports from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission say 31 sloths imported from abroad died while waiting for Sloth World to open.
So this is one of those issues that transcends party lines.
Democratic State Rep Anna Escamani Friday encouraged by Attorney General James Uthmeyer, saying his office would help State Attorney Monique Worrell in a criminal investigation into Sloth World. Escamani had written Uthmeyer this week urging action.
Grateful to have a response back, affirming our concerns.
We've made several attempts to reach Worrell's office. We have yet to receive a response. Back at the warehouse on I-Drive Friday, we saw someone clearing out some of what's left inside. I tried to get him to talk, but he would not budge. News of a criminal investigation comes after FWC said there was, quote, no legal basis for enforcement action or closure. The same agency in August 2025 reported that the warehouse had no water and electricity and was not ready to receive the sloths, but it was, quote, too late to cancel the shipment. On one night, FWC reported space heaters tripped a fuse and the sloths were in the cold building without heat, and no one was there to correct this.
Sloths in particular, though, are so incredibly harmless and they're just seen as innocent.
FWC says that while the deaths of these animals are tragic, subsequent inspections found the facility that we just showed you compliant with care and housing standards. We have reached out to the owner of Sloth World Friday, and we will let you know if and when we hear back. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Drones deployed in seconds to stop a school shooter.
A Central Florida high school becomes the first in the nation to test the high-tech designs. Coming up, all the details on how they work and the big question about whether this could expand to schools across the state. Plus,
this was a pretty big fire and it spread very, very quick.
a first-hand look at the damage left behind after a wildfire rips through the Everglades. Coming up, how one business owner is bouncing back after surveying the damage.
President Trump is in the Villages right now, speaking on several topics at the charter school there, including his big, beautiful bill. News 6's Matt Austin is also in that same room. We're going to hear from Matt shortly. And you can continue to watch the whole speech, and you can start it from the very beginning by going to clickorlando.com. Deltona High School is the first school in the nation to test drones that will respond to emergencies on campus.
The drones from a defense company called Campus Guardian Angel are non-lethal but designed to find an active shooter. Your correspondent Molly Reed is on Deltona High's campus.
If there's an emergency situation on Deltona High School's campus now, instead of waiting for law enforcement or the SRD to get to it, they can now deploy these drones that they say can get to the situation within 15 seconds. The drones are in these boxes, and when the emergency alert comes in,
Campus Guardian Angel, what's the emergency?
the box opens, they fly out and find an active shooter. They give real-time video to law enforcement.
If you come around the corner and it's kind of like a park-on thing where he's shooting into classrooms, then we need to do something really quickly, so we escalate a lot faster.
They're also packed with systems to distract and deter the threat, like sirens, flashing lights, and pepper spray.
Once you get 3 drones on you, right, you mentioned this, the sound, it's like it's a little unnerving. So people want to get away from that, or they want to try to attack it. And if they're doing either one of those things, that's great, because they're not shooting people.
All happening while law enforcement is en route. Behind the drones are some of the fastest drone racing operators in the world, based in Austin, Texas, controlling them virtually. It's a multi-layer security approach with AI gun detection in Volusia County schools, too.
They have a location, and they've got a picture of the guy, right? So if somebody took a gun out of their trunk in the parking lot, I would get that cue.
And at the end of installation, they say there will be 39 of these drones here on Deltona High's campus. But of course, the hope is,
I hope these drones never see the light of day. That is really the ultimate goal, is the drones stay in their nice little boxes and never come out of them.
Now, Deltona High School is the first to have them installed in the state, but it'll be one of 3 schools in this pilot program in Florida. Again, the first in the nation to be trying this technology out. If this pilot goes well, that could lead to installation of these drones in every school in Florida. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Molly Reed, News 6.
Turning now to your weather as we take a live look from our Daytona Beach sky cam.
Yeah, not the best weekend to be heading outside, at least part of it anyway.
Yeah.
We're expecting some strong storms to roll in tomorrow. Meteorologist Jonathan Kegas joins us, and you say it's not a washout completely.
No, this should be a very fast-moving line of thunderstorms, so it's certainly not going to last all day. Now, as that front comes through, some of those could pack a punch, but I think your morning's looking pretty good through Central Florida, and then I think Sunday is looking pretty good, just much cooler and very windy both of the days. Here is our system. It's developing along this stalled front. We were showing you this yesterday. All the moisture kind of pooling right across the North Gulf Coast and working its way into our direction. Eventually, that front that you see draped here, that's a stationary front now, it's going to get kicked right down the Central Florida Peninsula. And we are going to be watching that closely as it does, because as it has sped up in time, it's now going to coincide with the peak heating of the day. That's when instability is the highest, and we could have a couple of nasty thunderstorms in the mix. So here is 9 o'clock. Again, notice we are going to see clouds quickly going back on the increase out ahead of this front, out ahead of this line of thunderstorms that are sliding through. There's 3 o'clock into the afternoon again, and those storms really start to push through parts of Central Florida as we get going into the afternoon and then into the evening. I think by the time we get towards 5, 6 o'clock, we will be watching the storms get to the I-4 corridor and then eventually exit as we get towards that 8 to 9 o'clock time frame. Biggest threat with this is going to be lightning and wind. I think most of the wind gusts we see are going to be on that 45 to 50 mile per hour category. We could have some, though, reach severe levels. If they do, that's greater than 58 miles an hour. That's when those severe thunderstorm warnings would be issued. The flood threat is not that high. Again, the rain will be heavy at times in those individual cells. However, the good news, at least about this, is that these storms are going to be moving very fast, so they're not going to be allowed to really rain over the same areas over and over again. Some small hail going to be possible, and again, just watching for a very teeny tiny chance for the storms to spin a little bit and maybe increase a couple of tornado warnings across Central Florida tomorrow. So watching that closely as the front comes through. That's a live look outside downtown Orlando with our Light Orlando Delivering Hope Skycam. Air temperatures now right around 90 degrees. Southwest wind at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Otherwise, we have some extra clouds just pushing through. 89 in DeLand right now. Good evening in Mount Dora. We're hanging around 90, 92 degrees in Holopah. Air temperatures in Melbourne are back into the middle 80s. Now here's a look at your forecast for tomorrow that gets us back into the lower 90s before that front arrives. Rain chances up to 60%. Again, I think the worst of the weather starts to move in for us into Marion County and into Flagler County around that 1 to 2 o'clock time frame. I-4 corridor closer to dinner, that 4 to 6 o'clock time frame. And then by 7 to 8, really most of this is done and exiting quickly for us in Osceola and Brevard County. 60% shot again tomorrow for those thunderstorms. The Pride game, Pride match back in town again. We're going to have some issues now that the front has sped up a little bit. So going to be watching that closely if we're heading to Inter-and-Co tomorrow afternoon. 30% shot early for some thunderstorms on Sunday. Then I think the second half is looking good. We are cooler and breezy. Air temperatures Monday back in the 80s, and then the 90s return by the middle stages of next work week.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. Thousands of acres burned in just days.
A fast-moving wildfire tore through the Everglades, shutting down businesses in its path. Coming up, the damage left behind and the signs of recovery already starting to show.
If you are just joining us, President Trump is in the Villages right now speaking on several topics, including his big, beautiful bill. News 6's Matt Austin is there as well. We'll have a report from him coming up shortly. And you can continue to watch that entire speech right now on clickorlando.com.
A huge wildfire scorched thousands of acres in the Everglades, forcing businesses to shut down. We showed you these pictures earlier this week when the fire was at its peak. The fire spread fast through dry brush, leaving behind miles of burned land. Now, for the first time, one business owner is back, seeing all that damage up close. All new at 5, reporter Isabella Martin takes us on the water, showing us what's left behind.
For the past 2 days, Jose Novo has been waiting to get back out here. His business, Everglades Safari Park, shut down as the Highway 41 fire tore through the river of grass. But today, he's back on the water for the first time to see the damage.
This was a pretty big fire and it spread very, very quick.
We're riding alongside him, and it doesn't take long to see it. From the water, it's a different perspective. We were able to track down exactly where this fire burned through, and you can see right over here the sawgrass and vegetation is burned for miles. This fire sparked Saturday, racing through dry brush, burning more than 9,000 acres.
It was very, very hot due to a lot of trees that have rotted and fell down throughout the years.
Right now, it's about 20% contained with just a few hot spots left. From the water, you can see where it moved through, but out here, fire is part of the cycle.
But the beautiful thing is that in about 2 or 3 weeks, you'll see all the brand new shoots of green coming out.
It clears out what's old, making room for new growth.
It comes back stronger and it gets rid of the old stuff.
Still, this one spread fast, forcing businesses like his to close. Now, no active flames, just a few hot spots remain, but enough for Jose to reopen and start moving forward.
That was Isabella Martin reporting, and as she mentioned, crews are still monitoring hot spots in that area.
And they are still warning people any sort of burning can easily get out of control with these dry conditions that we have across the state.
Well, coming up, drowning is the leading cause of child deaths in the state. And now one city is helping first responders try to change that. The tools for families to keep kids safe at the pool this summer.
And imagine your dream wedding gone with one email. How a Central Florida bride is dealing with the aftermath of her venue suddenly shutting down right before the big day. Glad you're with us. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Ginger Gadsden. You're watching News 6 at 5. We're following several top stories right now. President Trump is speaking in the Villages. Today's speech is his first public appearance since last weekend's incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. He's touched on several key topics. We will have a live update from News 6 anchor Matt Austin coming up at 6 o'clock.
A criminal investigation is now underway into the Sloth World attraction after dozens of animals died before the attraction ever opened. The state attorney general's office confirming it is assisting in the probe after at least 30 sloths died in a warehouse that was not permitted for animals. State records show the facility had no power or water at one point and even lost heat overnight. State leaders say the investigation is now focused on whether any laws were broken.
And it's a countdown to a hopeful win for your Orlando Magic on their home court tonight. Orlando comes in as the underdog against Detroit, but a win tonight sends them to the next round of the Eastern Conference playoffs for the first time since 2010. They're trying to clean up missed free throws and rebounds after a close Game 5 loss, while star Paolo Banchero came off with a 45-point night. Now, if they get a win, they make NBA history. Tip-off starts at 7.
All right, we want to check in now with meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, who is standing by. We do have a weather alert on tap for us, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's going to be for tomorrow. So if you're walking to the Magic game tonight, everything's looking fantastic. Again, just a little humid, a little warm out there. But tomorrow, that's when the severe risk goes up. That front we've been tracking for about a week now. Speeding up in time, it's going to coincide now with peak heating on Saturday, and that's why the severe weather risk has gone up. Level 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale in yellow here along the northwest of I-4 pretty much. And then you see that threat goes down a little bit, level 1 out of 5 in the green there from along and south and east of I-4. Damaging wind is going to be the primary threat. Now, where the storms arrive later in the day, we're having an issue with the fire threat being extremely elevated tomorrow. It is going to be very windy as this front comes through. And you see for us in Osceola and Brevard County, fire weather watch going to be in play through noon tomorrow all the way until 8 o'clock. Again, anything that gets going, it is very dry. And it's obviously very windy. It will be very windy in addition to that, and that's what we're talking about, the increasing fire weather conditions. The breeze has certainly been evident today. We'll have gusts tomorrow on tap of around 20 to 30 miles an hour. That would help fuel everything. We're going to have much more about that part of your forecast and have the timeline of when those storms arrive in your neighborhood coming up at about 5:47, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. New at 5, justice now served 7 years after a deadly shooting in Lake County. A jury finding 35-year-old Alexander Aguilar guilty of second-degree murder with a firearm and aggravated battery. Investigators say back in 2019, Aguilar shot 2 men in Mascot after an argument. Deputies say 35-year-old Juan Ramon Cruz died and the second victim was hurt. Allegedly, Aguilar fired, then took off, but was later stopped in Sumter County. That's where deputies say he admitted to the shooting, claiming self-defense. Today, the jury rejected that claim. Aguilar is set to be sentenced June 15th.
President Trump is pushing back on Iran, saying he is not satisfied with the latest deal on the table. As tensions drag on, we are feeling it at the pump, with gas prices hitting their highest level since the conflict began. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest updates from the White House.
President Trump rallied supporters at the Villages senior community in Central Florida, touting GOP tax cuts with the midterm election 6 months away.
We have a record-setting average tax deduction this year of more than $7,500. Think of that. You know, it's been amazing.
Affordability is on voters' minds as gas prices hit an average of $4.39 overnight, up from less than $3 in late February when the conflict in Iran began.
It's crazy, bro. We got to get this together.
CENTCOM released new video of the U.S. naval blockade on Iranian-linked ships in the Strait of Hormuz, saying 45 commercial vessels have been directed to turn around. President Trump told reporters Friday he's not happy with Iran's latest proposal to end the war.
Iran wants to make a deal because they have no military left, essentially, and they want to make a deal, but I'm not satisfied with it.
President Trump confirmed he was briefed on potential military options Thursday, but signaled he still prefers diplomacy.
Do we want to go and just blast the hell out of him and finish him forever, or do we want to try and make a deal? I mean, those are the options.
With Operation Epic Fury reaching 60 days, a decades-old statute requires congressional authorization for continued use of U.S. forces. The White House sent GOP leaders a letter Friday saying there's been no exchange of fire between the U.S. and Iran since the ceasefire began last month, and hostilities have terminated.
The military operations haven't stopped. We're still using the U.S. military to blockade all Iranian ports, which is an act of war.
President Trump also dismissed the War Powers Resolution, saying past presidents haven't adhered to it.
And for more on this, we want to bring in Natalie live from Washington, D.C. Natalie, the president is still speaking here in Central Florida right now. Can you talk about the potential plan that is being discussed in Congress regarding authorization for the war?
Yeah, Republicans in Congress still remain largely supportive of the administration's operation in Iran, but some have signaled they think it's time for some congressional say. And GOP Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska said yesterday that she is leading an effort with several colleagues to draft an authorization of the use of military force that would place limits on the operation and provide more or force more accountability to Congress. But she said this would be very different from the Democratic War Powers resolutions that have failed to move forward on the Senate and House floors that really aim at ending the war immediately. It's unclear at this point how much support that effort has. Congress is also on recess next week. So we are really just trying to gauge reaction from Republican leaders in Congress about their next steps as Democratic lawmakers continue to argue that this war is unauthorized and they say unjustified.
Yeah, in the meantime, it seems like every day there's a new development in the negotiations between Iran and the Trump administration. As of right now, it appears that they have stalled. Do we know any more about that?
So the president was asked today why he is not satisfied with this latest proposal from Iran, and he said that they're asking for things he cannot agree to. We know that the administration rejected an earlier proposal in which Iran's regime tried to push discussions of nuclear issues to a later date and just focus on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Of course, the number one stated goal of this administration has been to make sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. That's something that the president also touched on in his speech that is still happening at the villages right now. So unclear at this point how long these negotiations are going to take. The president once again today also made note that, he's frustrated that Iran's leadership is disjointed, he says. It's unclear who's making decisions in Iran right now, and that is adding to the challenges of these talks.
All right, Natalie Brand, thank you as always, reporting for us live from D.C.
The Orlando Fire Department says crews have responded to 8 drownings or near drownings involving kids this year, all of them in Orlando and all of them in pools. With summer approaching, firefighters say they are trying to get the message out now before more kids end up in trouble. News 6's Alex Cook shows us what they're doing.
8 times this year, firefighters say they've responded to a kid drowning in a pool. And they say by the time they get there, it's usually too late. They say the big tragedy of this is that they're usually completely preventable.
These calls started in February and kept coming through March and April. The Orlando Fire Department says some were in backyard pools, others in community pools. And now, before summer really gets going, firefighters say their focus is prevention.
We've been knocking on doors, offering residents 2 free door alarm installations, and if they don't need it, we provide them water safety information about all the programs the City of Orlando offers.
Those free door alarms can alert parents if a child heads toward the pool.
They're part of the ABCs of water safety: adult supervision, barriers like gates and alarms, and classes like swimming classes and CPR.
Especially young children go through some swim classes. Adults, parents, guardians are trained in CPR.
And that supervision needs to be free of distractions.
No alcohol, no books, no cell phones, nothing that will make you look away for a few minutes because you want eyes on the children at all times.
The Orlando Fire Department says 8 drownings this year is way too many, so they're trying to put out this information about prevention to make sure that families can keep their kids safe at the pool this summer. In Orlando, Alex Cook, News 6.
A dream wedding suddenly canceled.
A local couple's big day thrown into chaos after a local venue shuts down just months before they said I do. Coming up, the warning signs they missed and what experts say you need to know before you put down a deposit.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Shark Coatings.
Plants, pottery, and you pick blueberries. I'm meteorologist Michelle Morgan at the Far Reach Ranch, where the Plant and Pottery Festival will be happening on Sunday. I spoke with the Director of Operations, Brendan Hamill, about what you can expect.
We have 50 vendors, some mix of plants or pottery for each of them. We also have a lot of food trucks. We'll also be running our vinyl brunch with live vinyl DJs, full brunch menu at the bar. We'll also have food trucks that are serving a brunch menu there. And as well, we'll have our Blueberry U-Pick, which is by the pound.
Admission and parking are free. Up next, Hot Wheels Monster Truck Live hits Silver Springs Arena in Kissimmee this weekend. Great family fun. There will be big trucks, crazy stunts, and lots of action. Grab your tickets online. Check out the Asian Food and Cultural Festival happening all weekend at Osceola Heritage Park. Celebrate rich cultures of Asia with food, music, art, and live performances. Starts at 2 p.m. Tickets are $10. Looking for some soccer action? This Saturday, the Orlando Pride takes on the Washington Spirit at Interco Stadium. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. Greek Culture Con will be happening all weekend at the DoubleTree near Universal Studios. Check out comics, toys, collectibles, and more. Tickets are online. Women's Day out this Saturday from 10 to 3 p.m. Free entry and swag bags while they last. Shop local vendors, food trucks, and unique Mother Day gifts. And if you have a fun event happening in your town next weekend, let me know. To send in your event, head over to clickorlando.com or our new 6 app, just tap Contact Us.
All right, if you are just joining us, President Trump just wrapped up his speech in the Villages. News 6's Matt Austin is there, and of course, we're going to hear from Matt and get some reaction from what the president had to say. That's coming up a little bit later on. And you can rewatch the whole speech from the beginning over on clickorlando.com.
New at 5, wedding woes. News 6 was the first to report on a local venue suddenly closing, leaving couples stranded. As News 6 investigator Pavlina Asta discovered, there is some recourse, but their options are limited.
In the Bahamas, baby.
In December, Shanika and Charles started planning a life together.
Yes! We got engaged when we got back from the cruise. I was immediately started looking for venues.
They chose the first venue they toured, an intimate ballroom with ocean views.
So the ceremony room is what actually blew me away. I was like, yeah, I can definitely see myself walking down the aisle here. The view was gorgeous. It was stunning.
4 months before their wedding, an email changed everything.
I was like, hey, I think we have a problem here. Crystal Ballroom is shutting down.
I met Shanika at the park as she figures out what to do next.
It's been hard. Been kind of down knowing that we have planned out so much and for it to be taken away from us.
The time to read the fine print is ahead of time. And if the venue doesn't allow you that time, or they tell you, sorry, you need to do this now, you need to, pay the deposit and get your name on the list now, or this is going to be gone, that could be considered a red flag.
Central Florida Better Business Bureau CEO Holly Sammons says there are 3 things you can do before you fall in love with a venue. 1, do your homework. Look at reviews. It can be a good indicator for how your experience will be. 2, consider venue insurance. It can help protect not only you, but also your total investment if something goes wrong. And 3, ask questions. The more vendors you talk to, the more you'll understand the industry standard.
If you only go one place, you're only allowing yourself one experience and one shot at asking all the questions. And so, getting your hopes all wrapped up into one location could be dangerous.
Since I first reported the Crystal Ballroom Ocean Walk was evicted from its space, dozens of brides told us they paid via Zelle.
Consumers should understand that paying by credit card affords the consumer some protection. But if a venue or a business asks you to pay through a payment app, you need to understand what is at risk. Once the money is gone, it is gone.
Have you reached out to all of the brides that are being impacted? We talked with the Crystal Ballroom owner who says brides not being relocated to other Crystal Ballroom locations will be refunded. We will continue to follow this story as it unfolds. In Daytona Beach, I'm Pavlina Asta, News 6.
Really good advice. And you always go by the rule of 3. You have to look at 3 places and compare. That's with anything, with moving companies,
yes.
You kind of get
and word of mouth,
variety.
though, like when you know someone who has had an experience with that company, to me, that's the best way to go.
Yeah, but if something suddenly closes down, what are you going to do about that?
Talk about a good test for your relationship, though. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas joining us now. Hold on to your derby hats because it's going to be windy tomorrow.
It will be a little windy tomorrow. Temperatures going to get back into the lower 90s across most of Central Florida before the clouds come in, and then eventually the opportunity for some stronger thunderstorms. And everything's developing out toward our west right now. You see the area of low pressure hanging towards South Texas. All of the moisture around a stalled out front. That front is eventually going to get knocked loose and then plunge right on down through Central Florida. Along that front, we could have a few of those storms be on the stronger side. You just saw the app thing push up, come up on screen there. You can download the free News 6 weather app, any alerts that are issued tomorrow. And of course, you can use the interactive radar and track those storms right to your location. If you have any pictures, you can send them to us for free, of course, by downloading the free News 6 weather app. There's 9 to 10 o'clock on your Saturday morning. I think we start off dry. You are going to notice the clouds going back on the increase, though, to make way for this line of thunderstorms. It's going to be around 1 to 2 o'clock. We're going to start watching for us in Marion and Flagler County especially, that line of nasty thunderstorms sinking down from North Florida. As we move forward into the early afternoon, there's 6 to 7 o'clock right along the I-4 corridor. And we're looking for the darker reds and purples here. That's where we're going to have the chance anyway for a few of these stronger thunderstorms. You'll notice, though, as we get deeper through the evening, there's 8 to 9 o'clock, and that line pushes further south and east of I-4. There's not as much red in it, and it will continue to break up, and after that point, there's just a few stray thunderstorms in the mix. By this point, we should not have any strong thunderstorms, just run-of-the-mill downpours, maybe a few rogue lightning strikes. I think we cleared things out early on Sunday, and then we start to see the temperatures drop a little bit. Nothing too crazy, but it will be noticeable by the time we get into Sunday afternoon and into the early part of next work week. Right now, it's a little toasty, hanging around 90 in Orlando, 91 in Kissimmee, back to the upper 80s in the Villages, mid-80s for us in Melbourne and Palm Bay. Once we get into the overnight hours, we're going to start things off around 70. So a mild start, the extra clouds and the humidity going to help to keep temperatures up overnight again to around 70 degrees. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Advent Health.
Temperatures tomorrow getting back into the low to mid 90s. Rain and storm chances at 60% tomorrow. We're at 94 in Wedgefield, 89 degrees in Bunnell as that front starts to come through north to south. Now, the wind is going to be the other factor. Of course, it is going to be drier for longer during the day tomorrow. The further south of Orlando you are, and with the dry conditions and the breeze kicking up, the wildfire risk is going to be very, very high tomorrow. Wind gusts on the order of 30 to 40 miles an hour as that front approaches and then crosses central Florida. So just be mindful of that as well. A couple of things to watch going forward. In terms of the rainfall, again, I don't think it's going to be a ton widespread. There will be pockets of very heavy rain, especially if you're stuck underneath, again, one of those heavier thunderstorms, which there will be a few of. Storm chances as a whole, again, tomorrow afternoon to the early evening at 60%, 30% chance for a few showers and thunderstorms early on Sunday morning. I do think we'll get the sunshine out quickly, though, as the drier and cooler air punch back in. We're into the upper 70s for highs on Sunday, low 80s on Monday, and then back to the lower 90s by the middle part of next work week.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. A warning for families who own firearms after a close call that could have been deadly.
Weeks after a young child shoots himself with an unsecured weapon, deputies are taking action to stop this from happening to other families. Coming up, the free tool handed out tonight in one local county.
Coming up on Monday, a local police department using cutting-edge technology in the Central Florida city that could be one of the safest because of it.
And a scheme on Facebook costing people cash. What the News 6 investigators found that could change what you post.
Join us for News 6 Morning starting at 5.
Safe storage saves lives. That's the message of this gun lock giveaway here in Osceola County. I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez. The Sheriff's Office is working to ensure that people here in the county are safe in homes where there are weapons.
Kids around, family members, you know, it's good to keep safety first.
You want just one?
That's how some gun owners feel about getting free gun locks from the Osceola County Sheriff's Office.
I got 2 kids on the way. That's doing like 2 months, and I carry, so it would keep me safe. I know they're safe, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like a peace of mind, really.
The giveaway comes just a few weeks after a 3.5-year-old shot himself in the chest in Point Siena with a gun that was within reach. The child narrowly surviving his injuries.
I'm telling you, the grace of God saved his life, because otherwise he's not with us. That case is still pending. It's under investigation, but we hope to wrap it up here in the next couple of weeks. But that kind of spurred this as well to make us want to get the message out to the community to try to save these kids from getting injured or killed.
Osceola Sheriff Christopher Blackman partnered with Dr. Myron Rolls Foundation to get locks to residents with no questions asked, to remind people of the dangers and reality of having guns around children who can end up in Dr. Rolls' OR.
Safe storage and gun locks reduce morbidity and mortality by 32%. A kid who can be 3 years old has enough strength in his fingers to pull a gun and discharge it, hurt himself or hurt someone else.
For William Vega, the lock is to keep his grandchildren safe.
The best way is have the safety, because you don't want nobody to grab the gun and start shooting a gun without knowing what they're doing. So that's why I came to pick it up.
Are you here for a gun lock? I'm your Osceola County community correspondent, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
And here's what we are working on for News 6 at 6.
President Trump speaking in Sumter County tonight at the Villages. Coming up, we're going to be breaking down the major announcement from the president to neighbors in the Villages.
And the stage is set for the Orlando Magic to break a 16-year drought. We are checking in with sports director Jamie Say as the Magic look to close out a first-round win against the Pistons tonight.
Play together, play strong, and you can win.
I think we've got 2 chances to get this. I think we can do it in 1.
Definitely think Magic will pull it off.
Magic fans have waited 16 years to see the team advance in the second round. Can the team close out the series right in front of a home crowd? Plus,
we're here to celebrate a policy that benefits every American senior.
President Trump speaking to neighbors in the villages, the key topics he hit on, and
News 6 continues to cover the disturbing details behind the deaths of more than 24 sloths. Coming up, how those details prompted an investigation.
News 6 at 6 starts now.
Our big story on this Friday evening, the weather. Your weekend weather could be causing some headaches.
Tomorrow is a weather alert day, so let's get right over to meteorologist Jonathan Kegas, who is breaking down what we're in store for. Jonathan.
Yeah, and the good news is it is not going to rain all day if you do have outdoor plans. The bad news is some of those storms could be on the stronger side because the front itself is speeding up. That means now the storms are going to develop during the peak heating hours of Saturday afternoon into the early evening, adding to some of the instability as that front comes through, more storm fuel. Again, that front could fire a couple of thunderstorms out there that will be on the stronger side. 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's where we're starting to watch closely, especially if you're in Marion County, Flagler County, then gradually working its way south to north to south tomorrow, and then exiting, I think, by around 9 to 10 o'clock, the entire Central Florida area, leaving us alone by the time we get into Osceola and Brevard counties by late tomorrow evening. In terms of the risk, level 2 out of 5 in the yellow here in terms of that severe weather scale, really along and northwest of I-4, along and southeast of I-4 back in the green. That's a 1 out of 5, meaning that we're losing a little bit of the steam as that front sags a little bit further to the south. You will see exactly what I'm talking about when we break down the high-resolution future radar into your neighborhood coming up in a couple of minutes. There's the moisture plume across the deep south. Our storm is developing right about over Houston, and it's going to help to drag a front right through Central Florida tomorrow. I'm going to pinpoint the timeline for your weekend plans coming up at about 6:17, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. So breaking tonight, President Trump just wrapped up his time in Central Florida, speaking to a crowd in the villages today.
The president hit on several topics, including what he says the big, beautiful bill has done for the senior community. News 6 anchor Matt Austin has spent the day covering the speech from the president. He joins us now from the villages. So, Matt, what were some of the key points the president hit on today?
Well, he hit on quite a few points. The president made it feel more like a campaign rally inside this small high school gymnasium. Maybe 1,000 people fit in here. Thousands more were put in overflow, and I think some had to be turned away. And the people in here sat and listened to the president speak for probably about 90 minutes. So let's show you the stage as President Trump took it in the 3 o'clock hour. He actually arrived in Central Florida on Air Force One. Speech started more in the 4 o'clock hour. Again, 90 minutes he spoke up there. And a topic he probably hit the hardest in the villages, to answer your question, was really catering to this audience. He talked about tax breaks on tips and overtime, but most importantly, for the retirees in this room, no tax on Social Security. The president went on to talk about large refunds for this group in particular.
But thanks to the massive tax cut, American seniors just received your largest tax refunds of all time, by far. And here in the Sunshine State, we've issued 2.5 million Florida seniors over $13 billion. Now think of that. That means more money to visit your grandkids, bigger budget for taking a trip to someplace that you want to go, or extra dinners out with your family. You're going to do a lot. You're going to do a lot. You know what to do with the money.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention it's been 6 days since an attempt on the president's life at the White House Correspondents' dinner there, and security here was certainly tight. Many roads have been blocked off around the Villages High School for hours. It's going to be difficult for these patrons to get out of here, and for neighbors who live here, it's going to be tricky to get around for the next hour and a half or so. From here, the president will head down to South Florida. He's expected to spend the weekend in Mar-a-Lago. Live in the Villages, I'm Matt Austin, News 6.
All right, Matt, thank you. You can watch the full speech from the president's trip to the Villages right now on clickorlando.com.
Taking a live look now at the Kia Center from our Light Orlando Delivering Hope camera. It's sure to be a rockin' crowd tonight as the Magic look to advance to the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs for the first time since 2010.
The countdown is on right now. We are less than an hour away from tip-off as the Magic have another chance to close out the series against the Detroit Pistons.
All right, so playoff fever is on full display tonight in the City Beautiful, and it could be historic night for fans as well, preparing for this game since last Wednesday, really, but there's sure to also be a bit of nerves in the air. So Sports Director Jamie Say is at the Kia Center for us tonight. Jamie, a huge crowd on hand as that game is now less than an hour away.
Yeah, this place is going to be jumping tonight, Ginger, as fans start to file into the Kia Center. I don't think nerves are going to be an issue for this Magic team. They are calm, they are cool, they are collected, and they're looking for a closeout. This is the opportunity that they have hoped for, the chance to close out this series with the Pistons at home and advance to the next round of the playoffs. Fans are excited. The Magic are excited as well because they know what kind of lift and energy the Kia Center can give them, and they have responded. They beat the Pistons, of course, in games 3 and 4 in this building to improve to 7-1 in postseason home games over the last 3 years. However, they will have to win tonight without Franz Wagner. He's out again with a calf strain. And the Magic have to be at their best tonight. There's no doubt about it. Have to be at their best to eliminate the #1 seed in the East, those Detroit Pistons. We were at Magic Shoot-Around this morning. The Magic are ready. Fans are ready.
I'm sure our fans are going to be great. You know, I'm excited to play in front of them. You know, come out, play hard.
The stakes are high for sure, but you know, it's nothing we haven't seen before. You know, just over the years, you know, when our backs have been against the wall, when everyone counted us out, we've always seemed to bounce back. So, I trust this group is going to do what's needed to get the job done tonight for sure.
The Kia Center is a heck of an advantage. It's unbelievable. Like, we have one of the loudest crowds in the NBA and the best fans in the NBA. So I think it creates such an advantage for us.
How do you think the Magic are going to do tonight?
We're going to crush them. Going all the way.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think we're going to do good, but we might do a little bit worse because Franz is out, but we got this.
Yeah, you're wearing a Franz jersey. He's your guy?
Yeah.
How do you think Paolo's going to do tonight?
You're going to drop 45 like last time.
45. You're old school Magic. You got the Shaq jersey on. What do you think? How are the Magic going to do tonight?
They're going to win.
Oh, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. That's it. We're going to win.
We're in Orlando celebrating our 34th wedding anniversary, and that's their gift to us tonight is a W. So let's do this.
That's right, let's do this. 34 years is a long time to be married. 16 years is a long time to not win a playoff series. That's what the Magic are looking to end tonight and advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals for the first time since 2010. If they don't win, Detroit will host Game 7 on Sunday. Let's hope they get this thing done tonight. Game 6 tips off at 7 o'clock. Live inside the Kia Center, I'm Jamie Say, News 6. Ladies, back to you.
Yeah, I don't know what the gift is for a 34th wedding anniversary, but a win would be a really nice one. All right, Jamie, looking forward to it. Thank you. And if you are going to the Magic game tonight, you can get a free ride on Sunrail if you show your ticket to the game. You'll get a free ride to and from the Church Street station. This is about a 5-minute walk to the Kia Center. Again, tip-off is less than an hour at 7 o'clock.
A sweeping undercover operation in Polk County targeting human trafficking and prostitution has led to more than 200 arrests. The operation was called Polk Around and Find Out. Deputies say 266 people were taken into custody, with 247 of them facing charges linked to prostitution, solicitation, and human trafficking. The Polk County Sheriff says this video shows suspects going to hotel rooms for sex, only to be met by deputies and taken away in handcuffs. Sheriff Grady Judd says Polk Around and Find Out uncovered suspects from across the country.
These are nasty, nasty, dangerous folks. We have everything from first-degree murder charges down to misdemeanors as criminal histories.
Detectives filed more than 400 charges and identified at least 7 possible human trafficking victims. In Orange County, investigators have made an arrest in a deadly high-speed crash in Lake Nona from more than a year ago. Orange County deputies say 18-year-old Cameron Rabel is now charged with vehicular homicide and racing on a highway. Deputies say back in February of 2025, drivers were speeding and weaving through traffic on Narcoossee Road before crashing into trees and bursting into flames. 17-year-old Anthony Sanchez, a Lake Nona high school student, died. Rabel has since bonded out of jail. A Volusia County deputy who was shot in the line of duty is now officially back at work. The sheriff's office posting this video showing Deputy Jose Rivera reporting to the training academy as he continues his recovery. Deputy Rivera was shot 3 times, and one of those bullets that was headed for his chest was stopped by his body camera. He was also hit in the thigh. Your Volusia County community correspondent Molly Reed spoke with Deputy Rivera earlier this week about returning to work.
It's humbling, and realizing how quickly, your life could have been taken, and then realizing who you're leaving behind. I'm just thankful that I would have the opportunity to still see my family and grow with them and see my kids grow up.
The suspect accused of shooting him, Luis Diaz Polanco, is pleading not guilty and remains in jail. Deputy Rivera is back on light duty with the goal of returning to the road later this summer.
Well, tonight, a criminal investigation into Sloth World attraction and calls for accountability grow louder. The state attorney general's office says it is assisting in a probe into the company after at least 32 sloths died before the attraction even opened. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti walks us through what we're learning.
There's not much to see when you look inside Sloth World. Construction was still going on when this controversy blew up. A controversy that has now stifled plans to open Sloth World. But right now, I want to bring your attention to a different building, about a 5-minute drive away. It's a Sloth World warehouse, or at least it was, until an Orange County building inspector placed a stop work order on the door. Turns out the warehouse had a permit for vehicle storage only, not for animals. Still, this is where reports from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission say 31 sloths imported from abroad died while waiting for Sloth World to open.
So this is one of those issues that transcends party lines.
Democratic State Rep Anna Escamani Friday encouraged by Attorney General James Uthmeyer, saying his office would help State Attorney Monique Orell in a criminal investigation into Sloth World. Escamani had written Uthmeyer this week urging action.
Grateful to have a response back, affirming our concerns.
We've made several attempts to reach Worrell's office. We have yet to receive a response. Back at the warehouse on I Drive Friday, we saw someone clearing out some of what's left inside. I tried to get him to talk, but he would not budge. News of a criminal investigation comes after FWC said there was, quote, no legal basis for enforcement action or closure. The same agency in August 2025 reported that the warehouse had no water and electricity and was not ready to receive the sloths, but it was, quote, too late to cancel the shipment. On one night, FWC reported space heaters tripped a fuse and the sloths were in the cold building without heat, and no one was there to correct this.
Sloths in particular, though, are so incredibly harmless, and they're just seen as innocent.
FWC says that while the deaths of these animals are tragic, subsequent inspections found the facility that we just showed you compliant with care and housing standards. We have reached out to the owner of Sloth World Friday, and we will let you know if and when we hear back. I'm your Orange County community correspondent, Mike Valenti, News 6.
It is just such a tragic ending, especially considering when we first learned this attraction was coming, there was so much excitement surrounding it.
Yes, and everyone loves sloths,
How
right?
could you
They're
not?
just so sweet
Yeah.
and gentle, and then to hear that is just really
It's just
disturbing.
tragic.
Yeah.
All right, more to come on News 6 at 6, including
the groups fighting over who owns life-saving emergency flotation devices are bringing their dispute here to court, all while swimmers at the beach without lifeguards still don't have those emergency life rings to grab if they need them. I'm your Cocoa Beach community correspondent, James Sparvero. I'll bring you the arguments from both sides.
Hey, I'm Tony DeCopo. Ahead on the CBS Evening News, Steve Hartman is all new and on the road after the largest wildfire in the history of the great state of Nebraska. One cattle rancher appeared to have no more food for his cattle. That's how it started. It's not how it ended, though. That story and more ahead on the CBS Evening News.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Advent Health.
New tonight, there is no new deal to put these life-saving rings back on the beach in Brevard County. The fight over who owns the rings actually headed to court today.
So it is the Rotary Club versus a nonprofit called Drown Zero. And this weekend, heading into severe weather and strong rip currents, there are sections of the beach that will have no rescue rings and no lifeguards. Your Cocoa Beach community correspondent James Sparvero hit up the attorneys with some tough questions.
The groups fighting over who owns life-saving emergency flotation devices are bringing their dispute here to court, all while swimmers at the beach without lifeguards still don't have those emergency life rings to grab if they need them.
It's terrible. It's absolutely a tragedy.
The greed of the Rotary Club is taking over. And
Attorneys I talked to on both sides blaming each other for how these couple dozen life rings, which used to be in a position to save lives, have now been in storage for more than a week.
And part of why we're here today is to get the stations back.
A board member of the Rotary Club who took the stand said while former lifeguard chief Wyatt Werniff of Drown Zero had the idea for the life rings, it was the Rotary Club who rolled them out and maintained them.
There's no safety.
Meanwhile, at South 4th Street, where 2 people drowned last month, this visitor told me he'd like to see them back.
I mean, I heard there was an accident, so be more cautious about it.
What would you say to people who feel like this is unnecessary to have a spat like this?
Completely agree.
Why not put them back while this lawsuit plays out so the public can benefit?
Well, I agree, and I'd love to. And I've written personally to the attorney for the city of Cocoa Beach asking if we can have permission during this to do so. I have not received anything back.
Cocoa Beach's mayor told me the rings have nothing to do with the city government, only the Rotary Club and Drown Zero. I'll let you know when they have another hearing and if then the rings might come back to the beach. In Brevard County, I'm your Cocoa Beach community correspondent, James Sparvero, News 6.
The Orlando Pride is hosting the Washington Spirit at Inter & Co Stadium tomorrow. The Pride are looking to bounce back after last Friday's 3-2 loss against Racing Louisville. The Pride will need to rebound quickly, now sitting in 10th place. Tomorrow's game kicks off at 4. That is surprising to hear that the Pride is struggling because they have been the one team for the longest time.
They've been our great hope here
yes,
in Central Florida.
That has clinched championship after championship. Maybe it'll be the Magic next. We'll see. We know that tomorrow is a weather alert day. So, Jonathan, if anyone is planning on going to the game, they need to be prepared for some rough weather.
Watching it closely for sure as that line of thunderstorms comes through. I think the game may start cloudy with a couple of showers around. Then as the match gets going and continues towards halftime, that's when really watching those storm chances increase. And again, some of those could be on the stronger side. Storm chances at 60%. That front has really sped up in time, and now it's going to be able to take advantage of some of the instability brought on by the heating of the day. Again, that gets underway at 4 o'clock, and I think that's going to be right around the time we start to watch storms knock on the door of Inter & Co Stadium. It's all because of this right here, stalled front. You can track all those storms with the free News 6 weather app, and also if you take any pictures, you can submit them right on the app, and we can show them on TV. It's the best way to get us your weather photos, sunset pictures, all of that stuff, storm photos, nice cool clouds and things like that. We'd love to showcase them when you can do so safely. But there is, again, we have that rain already starting to develop across parts of the deep south and north Gulf Coast. Watch as we take it forward here. I think the morning starts out dry. You'll notice the clouds go on the increase, though, but we are dry, a little muggy tomorrow morning. There's 9 to 10 o'clock on your Saturday. Again, just a few clouds out there. And then we start to watch as we get towards that 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon hour, especially in northern Marion, northern Flagler County, closer to St. Augustine. That's 3 o'clock, pausing it there. The darker reds and purples indicating where we could have a few really nasty thunderstorms in the mix. There's 6 to 7 o'clock in your evening. This is closing in on the I-4 corridor. It may be a little earlier. The trend continues to be this thing gaining a little bit of speed as it blasts right on through Central Florida. So I think right around that dinner time hour into that 5 to 7 o'clock ballpark. And then it quickly exits through tomorrow evening, and it also weakens a little bit more the further south and east of I-4 you are. So again, for us in Osceola County, Brevard County, severe threat is not 0, but it is a little bit lower than it is along the northwest of I-4. You see, quickly we clear things out as we move into Sunday. I think we'll see some sunshine before it sets during the day on Sunday. It will be cooler behind this front as air temperatures, again, getting back into the upper 70s by Sunday. In terms of tomorrow, we're back in the lower 90s in Mount Dora, 90 degrees in the Villages. Kissimmee, good evening. We're going to be at 93, so very warm for us ahead of the front. It's also going to be very, very windy as well. Something to keep in mind here. This is the fire weather risk. It's a model that takes into account how dry things are and then the weather component with it in terms of the wind gusts and the relative humidity being low. And really along and southeast of I-4 again, where the wind could gust 30 to 40 miles an hour and the rain won't be there until later in the day. That's where we're going to have an increased fire risk. Again, a fire weather watch is in play for us in Osceola and Brevard County also tomorrow afternoon. So a couple of things to be mindful of as we start our weekend. Now here's a look at your forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Again, Pride back in town, watching that closely if you're heading to the game. 60% chance for thunderstorms, a 30% chance on Sunday. That is very early. Then we clear things out, cool things down back to the upper 70s. We're going to warm things up rather fast as we head into the early stages of next work week, upper 80s already by Tuesday. And then we are back in the 90s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We'll be right back.
Here's a look at your top stories tonight. President Trump spoke in the Villages this evening. Today's speech was his first public appearance since last weekend's incident at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. You can watch the speech in full at cliporlando.com.
And we are now just minutes away from tip-off as your Orlando Magic look to close out round 1 tonight. Here's a live look at the Kia Center as the Magic look to end a 16-year drought. The franchise hasn't made it to the second round of the playoffs since 2010. Tip time is at 7 o'clock. And we need to end a drought of our own, but I'd like to end this one first with the Magic.
That would be nice. Kill two birds with one stone over the next few weeks here and go through the summer. Chance for strong thunderstorms tomorrow. We want the rain without the bad weather, of course. And I think this is going to be a fast-moving line of thunderstorms. So I think we're going to get some rain, but there is also the opportunity again for some damaging thunderstorms. Coming up tonight at 9:30, we're here every Monday through Friday on News 6 Plus and on the News 6 YouTube page. We're going to talk extensively about the storm timeline and then some of the nuances with the threat as well that comes with this in terms of the damaging wind gusts, the hail, and there's also a little bit of spin in the atmosphere tomorrow. So we're going to have that full breakdown coming up 9:30. I'll see you there at News 6 Plus.
All right, more news at 9 on cliporlando.com and the News 6 Plus streaming app.
Have a good night.